Mother, tell your children not to walk my way. Tell your children not to hear my words, what they mean, what they say. Mother.
Hello all, and we are all back. Actually,
Now we got it.
Now you got it.
I mean, shit. Okay. Fuck.
We'll figure it
Let's
out.
see.
All good.
Yeah. All right. We're good. All right. But we're back. Echo and all. We're gonna talk Double or Nothing, which was this past weekend. Ricky was there, so he can give that, and we'll probably talk a few other things because usually we do these pay-per-view reviews and we just drag on forever. Sometimes we like zip right through them. It's like
I don't know if it's going to be as animated as Dynasty's discussion.
No, it won't be.
Very great discussion. Probably one of our best discussions ever. Markeem coming in the second half was wonderful. Worked out perfectly. But yeah, I think we're just going to be a little bit more civilized with this.
Yeah.
Overall thoughts, everybody. Overall thoughts.
Who wants to start?
Let the kid start. He was there.
Yeah, go for it.
No, y'all. Whatchamacallit? Y'all go.
I mean, the broken record, great show. One of the best pay-per-views, probably the best pay-per-view of the year, and one of the best pay-per-views they've ever done. And it's just a standard that they've lived up for. And, it's kind of hard to see if they're going to be able to hit that every time. And they don't hit it every time. But the average is very high than normal. And I think the show fell in line with that. Had some tremendous matches. I think in comparison to the last 3-4 shows, it ended very, very happily. Everyone was very, very excited on the end of the show, and I think that helped out the the overall feeling of the show. So yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I thought it was a great show. Definitely away from my Double or Nothing of like being one of the more underachieving pay-per-views that they do. I feel like they absolutely overachieved with the show.
There was this show.
He heard you, Brandon. He heard you.
I would love to know, like, Brandon, maybe you can do this. Like, we're like, what was the rating, like, average rating for Double or Nothing before this show, and how much does this just boost the average on Cage Match?
I mean, I'm sure it did. Like, I think when I looked at it, Vic loves this when we talk about Cage Match ratings. So shout out to Vic. I think it was like 7.8, 7.9 as far as like overall with the shows.
That sounds low to me for a AEW pay-per-view too. So I mean, your point stands.
Well, that's I'm saying the average of these shows. I feel like have been
that
but this show
below the average of what I would.
Yeah, this show is actually through the roof, and especially with how long. It's surprising with how long this show was. People still.
But you know what? This match, people complained about Brian Alvarez complained about the length of this show. This show didn't seem that long though. You didn't feel it. You didn't feel it at all. I felt it a little bit with the trios match before the main event. I'm like, wow, we still got this match. And that was, I don't know why they put that. When we get to that match,
looking at my watch like, oh man,
I got a rant when we get to there about not about the match itself, but why.
I personally think that, like, at this point, we should know by now that AEW pay-per-views go long, but you got to give a massive kudos to the crowd because they stayed with this show the entire night and they paced themselves well. And I mean, Kid was saying the same thing while he was watching it live, where like card structure was perfect. Everything was where it should be. Everything was where we needed to be to give the crowd a time to rest for the big show, for the big matches. So they did a great job of like lining up this card, I think.
All right.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was I think it was a great show. It's really hard to come on here all the time and talk about the fact of how great these shows are. I sometimes wonder, and Joe and Rich brought this up, why is it that everyone's like, oh, it's another great AEW pay-per-view, right? But they will not rag, this isn't WWE, this is everybody. When everyone else goes out there and puts on these subpar big shows, like TNA does it, GCW does it, New Japan does it, everybody does it. Really, it should be, hey, why aren't we being closer to this than we are? Oh, look, WWE's putting on these boring ass, who cares shows, so we'll just put on shows that are slightly better than that. That to me is not okay. But But that's one of my big kind of things.
I would argue that most people put on shows a little bit more than slightly better.
but no, in their mind, what I'm saying is like the shows are far better, but in people's minds, oh, we only have to do better than WWE.
Just push. You said you should push yourself to be as great as you can possibly be.
Right. Where I think
in a way AEW is a victim of its own success, because early on those pay-per-views, one after the other, were just incredible. I mean, the original Double or Nothing could be considered an all-time pay-per-view. And I remember the first time they had a bad pay-per-view, I think it was during the pandemic. It might have been Double or Nothing. Yeah. And immediately people were just like, oh, okay, now they're just like everyone else. They're having a bad show. It's over. And it's like, so I think in a way, like, AEW's just cultivated a mentality that, like, the pay-per-views, even if the build is bad or the card is bad, it's always going to deliver. So in a way, I think they've kind of done it to themselves.
I think it's still, because we're only 6 years in. I think when you get to like maybe another 4 years, someone really needs to make a list of not just AEW, but say, okay, what are the best big shows of all time, the top 10, right? And do that list. I have a feeling that list even will be it'll be like doing a best matches from the 90s, right? If you do a best matches from the 90s, people in their head automatically think,
all Japan got 7 of the bitches. So you
think 7?
Yes.
Yeah. Even with the women, you think it's 7.
Listen. Okay, all right.
I feel like we should have this discussion like a
long
discussion. Like, I feel like we should save this as a topic. That's actually a really good topic to talk about.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, but yeah, 7.
But
we'll talk about it later, Josh.
If you throw that out there, people think they know what that's going to be, right? But the fact of the matter is they don't, because when they realize that there's only going to be one, probably not even just U.S. match, North American match on that list, they're going to start freaking out and being like, what are you talking about? This can't be right. And pretty much it's right. And the fact that the fact that perhaps the greatest match WWE ever put on, which was, in my opinion, Austin and Brett,
agreed,
might be 5th on that list. Might be. Probably closer to 7th. Might be. That tells you something. Tells you something.
Maybe 9 or 10, but I got you.
I know. So, but I think if you do a pay-per-view list, you can probably do it now and it'd be the same way. But I think once you get like 4 more years down the road, I think it'll have more impact. And you do that list, and the fact that you could have a clean sweep at this point. I can only think of maybe 1 or 2 shows.
Look, if we're talking about American pay-per-views,
no, we're talking.
There's like 2 other ones, maybe. There's like 2 other ones.
No, I'm talking like everywhere.
Oh no.
No. But
this is a good evergreen topic, and I feel like this is something we should.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
but I feel like what you're
very
trying to say.
Topic to go over.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, I think, like you were saying, they're a victim of their own success because we've gotten used to it, right? Yeah. We've gotten used to it. When these shows aren't like, if these shows are just, I would even say just great. Like if they're just great, people are like, man, that was an underwhelming show. Like it's that point. Like it's still a great show, and it's like, that was kind of an underwhelming show.
But I also
very good show.
I also feel like the shows are definitely a victim of the main event. Like the main event is the lasting impression on these shows. If Revolution had a great main event, I feel like this will probably be on par.
That would be that'd be like an all.
I mean, the fact that people automatically said this show is the show of the year, when Revolution, that was a damn good show. I think
Revolution might still be the better show, personally.
But again, when people look at the lasting impression, which was Mox versus Colt versus what we had here, which was an incredible match between Hangman and Ospreay, you can see why people would kind of lean more towards this show here.
Yeah.
But to I don't want to dwell on Josh's point because now he has me thinking about it. Why'd you bring that up? Like I still feel like you gotta separate the other shows, man. I don't like American pay-per-views are just so different, bro. But we're talking about this like because I'm gonna keep it just at American pay-per-view. We're talking about this American pay-per-view. AEW will probably have like 8, 9 of those, possibly all 10. You know what I mean? It's not even because if you think about the greatest WWE pay-per-view of all time. WrestleMania 17, right?
I'm not even thinking about that. Like, I would have a couple takeovers over that show.
But see, I'm not necessarily counting those because those aren't really pay-per-views.
But I'm just thinking big shows, just big shows where like this is like, hey, matches and what stuff is built toward.
Yeah, we're
that's
doing
what I'm thinking of.
We're doing that and definitely throwing some of those takeovers. But you know, AEW would have like most of them. The whole list would just be AEW. We're talking about the entirety of pro wrestling history. We're talking about, you know, Attitude Era that everybody loves and go back to old WCW, you know, the early 90s people talk about. Like, yeah, AEW would be most of them. I thought this show, just back to this show, I thought that it was probably the show of the year, if not like, it's either, for me, just my emotional connection, it's either this or Stardom Grand Queendom. In the ring, it was probably this. From a storytelling standpoint, it was probably that. You know what I mean? So we'll see. But yeah, man, this is incredible. Incredible show. Incredible show.
It was a show they needed too, because I mean, I mentioned it going in. Like I thought this was kind of stuck between Revolution coming off of that because that was a big show for them, and in between All In. And I thought this was going to get lost in the shuffle, and they proved that this was not the case. And honestly, it made me more excited to see what they do with Double or Nothing next year if they do the Owen again as the main event, or you know, I'm excited for Anarchy in the Arena to come back after this night.
I am scared for Anarchy.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see how they try to top it and if they can. But I mean, going in, I was not really feeling Anarchy in the Arena. I'm like, oh, okay, this will be fun, and then within the first 10 minutes, I was hooked.
And you know what? Like, that's been the case. That's been the case. There's probably how many of these matches have there been?
4.
4. I would say going into them, probably 3 of them. I think you could say you felt this way. I think easily, but then they always seem to over deliver.
Yeah, I was excited for the first one, and
right.
I was excited. Yes, very much.
Like, you know, cool.
But then shit happens. Yeah, and then shit happens. You're like, well, fuck. So, yeah.
I can't wait till we get there, man. I can't wait till we get there.
Well, so let's say from Kid. Kid, how was the live experience?
It was.
Quick thoughts about Dean when you were there.
I could do Dean now. I could do Dean after.
Yeah, just knock it out. Your whole weekend that you were there, just real quick.
The weekend was lovely. It was still incredible. It was actually really cool to meet other people there that had gone to the last 3 Double or Nothings, just like myself and my friend had. People who were from California. We met a couple from Colorado. We met another group from Arizona, but they were going to Vegas every year for those shows. It was kind of cool that the Memorial Day weekend tradition that we were joking about last week, it's not just, I mean, I've always known it's not just us. I just wasn't sure if that was going to persist once it left Vegas. And met a lot of people who had like gone to all the shows. And I thought that was really, really cool to see that even in Glendale, Arizona, the tradition still continued, which is pretty awesome. The arena was incredible. That was one of the best arenas I've ever seen a wrestling show in. Like everyone is close to the ring. Everyone's close to the action. The hallways are fucking modernized. It's like a random pet peeve I have going to sports arenas around the country. Like it's actually looks like it was refurbished in 2015, 2020, 2025. Not this crap that existed in the 90s and just stays there forever. That made me very happy. There's like modern Wi-Fi. There's self-check kiosks. There's updated merch stands, updated concessions.
Oh shit, let's go.
Desert Diamond Arena, fantastic product. It was you get in, and there's like 10 different security entrances to get in. You may think that sounds simple, but when I went to T-Mobile Arena for the 2022 show, there was only 2 entrances for the entire building.
That's in Vegas, and that's in Vegas.
Wow.
It's a day. You wait outside. We waited outside like 45 minutes just to get in. Here we're in and out, in and out. It was incredible.
So I got to ask you, Kit, then, do you want them to go back to it next year, or do you want to go back to Vegas?
I would. I'm more open-minded to we'll make Double or Nothing a traveling experience to a bunch of different shows. Doing this again might get a little repetitive, but the arena was so good that for the AEW pay-per-view itself part of the weekend, I have no doubt that will be incredible because it was a great experience in that regard, and I would be amenable to that if it came to that. But I don't mind trying new things because I might find a new arena that I like. Like I love this arena. Maybe I'll find a new one in Denver next year or something like that. So the live experience was awesome. I won't comment on the matches because we're going to go through each match individually, so I can just give more color there. But the live experience, the whole interface of the venue, the way everything was absolutely spectacular. Like truly better than any live experience I've had in Vegas from an arena standpoint. Wow. So that was great by AEW. Dean was lovely. The show just went up right before, like about an hour before we started recording. They just put it up. We had a great time. It's the Dean show takes place right in front of Desert Diamond Arena, which is in front of a fountain plaza, which is where like all the bars and the restaurant of this district are. And so it was easy to just like walk up to the show, walk out to get food. But instead of like in a regular wrestling show when you're like settling for bad venue food, these are like food from like really good vendors that are all nearby that you could just go wherever you want to get like a good meal or a good drink, etc. So also from a live experience, lovely. Like we're watching the Rhino Matt Manders match. Is that guy's name? We're watching the match and I'm like, yeah, I didn't think that match would open the show. I thought they'd open with like something more high paced. They open with that match and I go to my friend and I'm like, hey, like we've seen a lot of gores in our life. Kind of want to get some food. Are you cool if we miss the gore to go get food? And I watched the gore on YouTube just now before we started, and it's like, yeah, it's just exactly as I thought it would be.
Totally were there the fact that you said that there was in this area of like bars and restaurants and stuff, and the fact that it was a free event, did you notice anyone like who would probably never go to a wrestling show, maybe just walk up just to be like, let me just see a couple minutes of this or what the hell's going on?
Yeah, you constantly saw a lot of people coming to and from, and that wasn't all like wrestling fans rotating. You saw like new people. You could probably see it on the stream because they're not like directly touching the other wrestling fans. They're like a half step behind, but they're clearly like stopping and like, what is this? Like it's the real life logic, good logic of the bad wrestling argument Vince Russo gives that a casual person's changing the channel and they see like a pop star on the wrestling screen and they stop and they watch. Like that's kind of what this was, except there wasn't any cultural stuff. It was just wrestling and cool wrestling at that. During Cybernetico, especially, there's bias here, but I got the sense the crowd grew during that match. That's what I thought towards the end, like looking around at the finish compared to when the match started. I wonder if the stream verifies that. But it's a good show. It's a fun show. Cybernetico was awesome. The Lee Moriarty per title defense match was like a very good classic Lee Moriarty match. The other undercard matches were all good. They were fun and quick. Like Beast Mortis and Slim J was exactly what you'd expect. A fun 8-minute, lovely spot beatdown kind of match. And then Josh Woods' match against JD Drake was like a solid, good, regularly sized mid-card match. For a free show, I have no complaints. I would say it was a good show. Main event was kind of bad, I thought. I'm wondering how it comes off the stream. Live, I thought it was kind of bad. People were gassed after Cybernetico. I don't know why it went on last, but I thought the Cybernetico was worth the time, worth the effort. It was really cool to see all those legends in the ring one by one.
What did they mean with the dog collar match?
Yeah,
the dog.
Yeah.
Oh, it was bad. Oh,
yeah, man. I thought it was bad. Maybe you guys,
man.
You guys might watch it and you might think, oh, it wasn't bad. It was just like a 2.5-star match. I mean, maybe, but like live after Cybernetico, it was really flat.
2.5-star match for main event's kind of bad though.
And especially when Cybernetico was like lovely. And like I have
when you mentioned that, I was wondering if they're just worried about lighting or if they like notice like, hey, we got a lot of people here. Like just put the big match on now. I don't know why they wouldn't main event with Cybernetico because that was the big selling point for the show.
Yeah, maybe some guys had to leave too and they were worried about that. It's unclear, but all I know is probably not visible. I have a little callus here on my middle finger from the claps that the crowd gave for Blue Panther throughout the match. You will hear a lot of obnoxious Blue Panther chants started by a few fans in that match, and I was not shy to join in when it was my time to help out Blue Panther. So it was true. It was a lot of fun. And seeing Danielson put up Blue Josh posted the video.
I was just gonna say that because like Josh knows how we came on here, had the Sabu show talking about tape trader. Blue Panther was another dude that like, you guys tapes, bro. They were like gold. they were like gold, man. And you can tell, like, I don't know if you ever seen some of his old stuff, but you see why Danielson loved him so much because you can see Blue Panther all through his stuff, all through his work. So yeah.
And he really brings it in that match. Like I would have understood 200 people, free show, you dog it. Like I would totally understand at his age. But he brought it. He really participated, and I would say he was just as over, if not more so, than Hologram was. Whereas I guess for like the modern audience, maybe they might have more TV familiarity with Hologram than Blue Panther, but Blue Panther was a shining star throughout the whole match. And
that man don't know how to dog it, kid. He don't know
that's
how to
fair.
dog it.
That's fair. It was a great experience. Hopefully you guys liked the Cybernetical match as much as I did. And
did you get to meet Josh Woods and tell him how much of a fan you are?
No. I just yelled at him during his match, like, "Where the fuck were you at pickleball, Josh?" And then a few other people nearby were laughing with us, and then someone else accosted him for that. Pretty much this whole match is just us berating him for no showing.
Oh, you bullying the guy.
But we got to meet Tony Khan. That was cool. It sounds like,
cool picture.
from what I read about the reports, it sounds like it was by accident that there was a power outage. And that's
I think I posted it to you or whatever, and like I sent it to you. Like where they blew their generator, so they had to like vamp, and like so Tony went out there and just like cut a promo, basically like keep the crowd entertained.
It was great though. Stop, took a picture. We thanked him for doing the show. He was like, "Oh, you guys coming tomorrow?" We're like, yes, of course. That's not a gimmick. That he's actually like that. It's crazy.
I have a Tony Khan story for the scrum afterwards. We talked about the pay-per-view. I had to mention this because my buddy's gonna get a pop out of this.
But yeah, it was Dean. Good show. Good Cybernetical match. Great Cybernetical match. Some good undercard matches. Hopefully the main event comes off better on stream than it did for us. And good show.
That really makes me sad, man. Those are two of my favorite guys to watch, period. They had a bad
and Danielson prefaced the match by saying that Adam Priest, in his opinion, is the best indie worker on the planet right now, and that he has never seen Mad Dog Connolly wrestle, and he's so excited to see him wrestle. And it was just flat. Like, it was flat. The ref did a bad job, was constantly getting in the way of the dog collar throughout a lot of their spots.
That's no good.
God damn it, man. Getting angry.
Still watch it, check it out, and see how it is.
Watch it. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe you'll think differently, because like we were all like, there was so much emotion in that Cybernetical match that even for only 200 people, you could tell the crowd was just really behind Panther in such a way that made the match memorable to me.
That's cool. I'm so mad that it wasn't aired live because I was like actually looking forward to it, and it's like, hey, when's this thing going live? And then I can't remember who it was posted like, oh no, it's airing on a delay. It's like I was pissed because I had literally set aside my entire Saturday night to watch that.
You no worries, you'll still watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
I mean, by everyone that was there, it sounded like it was probably the right decision because it was outside. Like the generators went out, so they kind of knew what they were doing when they were like, we'll put it up later.
Sometimes it's better to make a show live and free for the fans and then just put it up later because you'll probably get more traction after the fact because of word of mouth.
Yeah, we're good, and we can go on to the pay-per-view.
Hold on. I'm so happy Tony Khan even did this show because it shows that he loves pro wrestling and he understands his roots. I get so angry at him because I know who he is. Just wanted to throw that out there. I know who you are.
We got another one coming.
We got another one coming.
You know what I'm saying? That's awesome. Who else would do this?
Why do you think
I love pro wrestling not doing this?
Why do you think they're running shows at the ECW arena? Why do you think he's doing that?
Because he's one of us, man. That's why I get so upset.
Like as wacky as that sounds, he's like, hey, let's go do this.
He also, I love Tony, man, because like Tony he's us. He is a wrestling fan who got money and is going to be put on a wrestling promotion for wrestling fans. And
not
in
just
this day and age,
but a deep wrestling fan.
Deep
20 years. For 20 years, we had to put up with Vince McMahon being the only game in town.
I was thinking about this the other night. If he really wanted to, he could be like, when people talk about him just like wasting money, do people realize he could like just go, I want to spend $1 million.
How much money Tony Khan wastes?
Here's the thing: he could go literally. I'm going to do the greatest one-off show ever. I'm going to spend $1 million to put on a show, not give a fuck how much money I make, and that would be like us spending like $100. Do people not get that?
No,
they don't. People not understand that.
And they count his pockets for some reason. I don't count Tony pockets. I don't care how much money he loses.
Someone said,
"You're the best wrestler." Don't care.
Someone said he could run AEW shows for a year and never sell a single ticket and still not be broke. And that's
guy's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Last thing before we move on. He also gave a speech about Dean. I don't know if that one got uploaded. Like you saw Danielson's, but Tony gave one too.
I didn't see the but it might be on the show. So,
and he said for those because wondering, because I didn't know this. I mean, I knew of DVD-VR, but I didn't know that this specific part of it. He said Tony said in his speech that Dean's probably biggest contribution is how relevant he kept Lucha in the United States and how relevant that forum kept Lucha in the United States, and that's why he wanted Cybernetico on the show, because he thinks all those guys like really like got a lot of popularity from U.S. indie wrestling fans because of that site. So, and Danielson mentioned
did you post there?
I never so here's the thing with that site. You had to have some balls to post there.
That was not site?
That was not you did not go
that place
in there
was toxic. You can say it. That place was fucking
not
toxic,
just not just toxic, but you had to know your shit. I mean, there are people that you would probably think posted there that I know never posted there because of what I just said. Because it was like either because they also had like weird tastes too. It wasn't like it was
yes, pretentious ass motherfuckers.
Yes. Right. But and heaven forbid you walk in there like brand new and be like, you guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about when you talk about Mark Henry. Like you can't be like that's just not what that site was.
Oh yeah, they did love Mark Henry, and I was like, this guy's son. Hey, y'all know.
But the thing is probably the time that board was like the biggest was not when most people knew about it. It was probably before then. It was probably like the real early 2000s, before like you had like an explosion of that stuff on, before the indies got super hot, before like all of that, and when wrestling was really down. That's probably when they got, I would think, if I remember right. I'm trying to remember, but yeah. But I mean, you had Dylan Halls on there, and I mean he's one of those dudes. I mean, look at his taste and stuff, and that's all you got. You know.
Look, I love my dog Joseph Weirdness. I know y'all probably familiar. I think he posted there too, so that tells you all you need to know because Joseph got really weird taste.
Yeah, like unique stuff. So yeah.
To piss off Vic even more because he's in the chat, we're gonna go from the most highly rated match on the pay-per-view and work our way through there. So we're gonna go straight to the main event, the Owen Hart Financial.
Is that the highest rated one?
Yes. Josh, it's like
Hangman Page.
That's the year.
Hangman Page defeats Will Ospreay and is going to be in the main event. I don't know why people are thinking that Mercedes and Tony Storm are going to be the main event.
If that happens, that's bad. That's bad. That's bad.
The same people who are saying that the women should main event are the same people who are saying that Hangman should have won this match. It makes no sense. Like, what do you want? Like, you want Hangman to win the championship from Mox?
If he doesn't main event, he's not winning. That's the thing.
Yeah.
If he's not main eventing, he's not winning. That's the thing.
These people are just thinking with their heart, and I get it. You want to be invested in pro wrestling, but be fucking smart, bro. The main event is going to be Hangman versus
the women can go on second to last.
Looking back,
it'll be fine.
Tony Storm and Mariah May should have main evented Revolution, no question about it. But if you think for a second that they're not going to main event All In with Moxley and Hangman, two of their biggest stars from day one, all that shit, you're high, okay? There is no fucking way they're main eventing All In with the women. And not to knock the women, they're probably going to have a great match. There's no fucking way.
I mean, this is the biggest. I mean, you're talking about the biggest. This literally will probably be the biggest match.
Absolutely.
That the women have ever had.
Going in is Hangman trying to redeem himself and trying to get the belt back from the Death Fighters.
I think this will be the biggest women's match they've ever done.
Fair.
But you still can't.
It could be better than Mariah and Tony.
You still can't have that match main event over Hangman and Mox.
Not a chance.
If you do that, that is a red flag. Oh shit! Moment.
I always feel like the most important match should main event. Like I'm never the guy like, oh, the world title should always main event. I'm always the guy. The most important match should main event, and the most important character in all of AEW is Hangman Page.
Yeah.
So, just that.
And again, the whole angle just screams this has to close the show. Whether or not Hangman wins or not is up for debate, but like it has to close the show for the maximum amount of drama.
So this match, I've seen some people say like match of the year, one of the best matches in the world. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I think this was a damn great match. I enjoyed it a lot. I enjoyed the story that they told throughout. I enjoyed the when they were flipping back and forth between using like their rivals or their inspirations moves. Like I enjoyed all of that for sure. Again, I don't necessarily see it being on like match of the year level. I think there was probably a match that was probably a little bit better on this show. But I enjoyed this a lot. And I was very surprised about the outcome. I enjoyed the finish, and the outcome very much surprised me. And I'm very much looking forward to the main event with Hangman going against Mox. I was thinking Ospreay. I think a lot of people thought Ospreay would win this, but the surprise of Hangman was great, and I don't think that you can do anything other than Hangman winning this belt at this point.
I really hope they put the belt on Hangman, especially because I've said it before, like Hangman's storyline is stuck in this redemption thing. He has to redeem himself and everything like that. So like I feel like him winning the belt moves him on to that next step, whatever it is. Whether he holds the belt for a month or two years, whatever, it doesn't matter. Him winning the belt is his redemption. And especially for how bad his title reign was, I kind of wanted to get a decent reign this next time. So
okay, so here's my complaint.
Oh shit,
Josh.
No.
Gotta be this guy.
But no,
Old man yells at clouds.
Yes. How long do we now wait for Ospreay to get this title?
Oh my god.
Hold on. Hang on.
Serious.
But hang on. Like you went on last month or the month before that Ospreay should be winning this championship.
Yes.
In
but
London.
You're not going to give it to Hangman and then have him drop it immediately.
So then what's your argument right now? Like, you know that Hangman needs to win this match.
I understand.
Ospreay's just going to have to go on the back burner. I agree, but Ospreay's just going to have to go on the back burner right now.
But I don't think that's good. That's my point. I think
you gotta. Which direction are you going to go? If you don't think this is good, then Ospreay should have won this now, which will counteract the argument that you had last month where you said Ospreay should be the one that wins at Forbidden Door.
I understand, but if what did I also say? I said that if you're not gonna, you can't have that. I have always said Mox has to lose, in my opinion, at All In.
Yes.
When it was like then Ospreay has to win and we have to do whatever at now. Yes, I did say at Forbidden Door that needed to happen. But
you
I also
initially want Swerve to beat Mox and then Swerve lose the Ospreay.
Yes, because to me that's you at least have 3 months of Swerve, and that to me is a still a super short, whatever, super short. Joe saved that angle. How do you want that?
Oh my god! I knew it is never them. It is never their credit. They've been champs for 8 months. The company's felt the hottest it's felt in 2 years, and it is never their credit ever. It's always someone else's fault.
And
I've been way too nice to you about it.
I'm just giving you shit. I'm just giving you shit.
Here's one thing that you're not mentioning though, Josh. Is that like I was talking to a couple of friends about this. Is like everyone's talking about like Ospreay needs to win the belt. Ospreay needs to win the belt. Do you know how many times he's challenged for the belt? Only once.
I understand that, but
my thing is
if you wait too long, if you wait too, like he
is not gonna be Tyler Black. Okay, they have only given him one title.
I don't know.
Hang on. Tyler Black,
I agree
how
with
many
him.
title match did he get before he won that fucking belt? He is not going to be that way because they've been smart about keeping him in the main event picture, but he hasn't challenged for the belt yet, except for the one time against Swerve. They're doing very good job. I agree, though. There is a time limit, but I think if you're smart, you can find a way to extend this until next year if you want. I would like
with Hangman, how hot he is, and people
exactly.
There was going to be for most people, most sensible people, like this main event could have gone one way or another, and you
Absolutely.
could talk yourself into that person beating Mox. And the fact that it's Hangman, I feel like people like myself who wanted to see Ospreay win, I'm like, okay, like I can see them going forward with Hangman, and let's just see what they're going to do with Ospreay on the next
I was
year or whatever.
convinced. I was convinced that I going into this match, like I'm going to see Will Ospreay beat Jon Moxley live. And when he didn't win, I was shocked. But it makes sense for like the Hangman storyline, like that he's the main character of AEW. Even though Ospreay's the best wrestler there, Hangman's the main guy. So you got to finish this angle. If the title win is going to redeem him, fine, let's go with that angle. Ospreay has not become stale yet at all. He's still having the best matches on the card. You got time. But there is a clock on that. And I think you're right. Next year is like, okay, it's nut cutting time.
I think next year's too long.
My thing is this. I feel like because y'all was yelling at me like, "Oh, Will Ospreay needs to win the belt because blah blah blah."
I was saying that. Look, I was saying this a year ago. I was saying this a year ago.
I know you were, and I told you were panicking before, and everybody's panicking now. The nature of Will Ospreay's character is that he's never
won a G1. He never won a G1. Never won a G1
world title.
Yeah.
And he's the star he is without ever having a lone world title reign. I feel like as long as you make him feel important, as long as you make his matches feel important, as long as he does not feel like an afterthought, you can do basically whatever you want with Will Ospreay. He's lost so many big matches.
But eventually he still needs to win. He still needs to win.
Of course. I'm not saying he never should win the world title. No, that's how I felt about MJF. We'll get into that later. But I'm not saying he never should win the world title. I'm saying that it's not the end of the world if you wait a little bit and have him win next year in Wembley Stadium. It's not the end of the world, man.
It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world.
Let me hear from Kid, what you got? What you got?
Well, I will say live. I heard you say it, Brandon, as I was quickly leaving the room. Like, I did think it was great. I don't think it was the best match on the show. I think most people there would agree with me on that. Not just because of how the crowd reacted.
It's not the best match on the show.
No. But it has like a night, like, you know how like when AEW does well and then WWE fans come and bomb the page. This feels the opposite of that, where like a lot of Hangman fans are so happy that he won that they're like coming and like rating the hell out of this match at a level that I don't think it deserves. Because as of right now, it's the best match of the year. Double or Nothing is the show of the year, the best AEW show of all time, because this match is rated so high. Like, I think we need to calm down. Like, I thought it was an awesome match, great match, really liked it, really good epic. Live, and I thought this live, and I thought this again watching it before we did the show today. Crowds into it, they're tired. Like, I think we all thought, and I thought, like, oh, it doesn't matter that you're following Anarchy. Those guys are so good, it does not matter. And certainly by the end closing stretch of the match, it did not matter at all. I think in the first 15 minutes, if you watch it back, there's a lot of the crowd is popping for certain spots, and then they're kind of like an exhausted fan that's still cheering, still into it, still dueling "Let's go Ospreay, let's go Hangman" chants. But the energy's a tad bit muted because they're so tired. And I thought that was just my live experience, but I rewatched it today and it confirmed exactly what I thought. That's kind of how
also like them going so long and the fans knowing that like they were going to go long made them kind of pace themselves. And because by the finish, the fans were going crazy.
Of course. And what I thought was interesting about the match is similarly, if you go back and listen, the "Let's go Ospreay" chants are pretty clearly higher than the cowboy shit chants. Pretty clearly. It's not that close. But Will kind of does the mid-match heel turn. You know what I mean? For the context of this match, not a broader heel turn. And then that's when the Hangman fervor turned up to a notch, to the point where that finish happens, and it's one of the most fascinating crowd visuals in AEW history. Like, if you watch when Taker beat Brock at WrestleMania, when Brock beat Taker at WrestleMania 30, one of the fun parts about watching that back is going in the crowd and seeing all the fans going crazy, right?
I've watched that fucking pinfall like 300 times to go back and watch every single person's reaction.
One by one. I think I'm at over 1,000, truly, over 10 years at this point. And so you do that for this match, you'll see like 75% of the crowd absolutely lose its shit. And then you still see that shock that we're talking about from like the other 25%. A lot of hands over the mouth. My hands over my mouth. You could see it on camera. Like a lot of people, like with the surrender cobra, like a lot of like shock, like truly shock. at the finish that I agree with Brandon. We all thought it going in, but in hindsight, it does kind of make sense because credit them for this. They weren't, and we talked about this in the Dynasty shows too. They weren't just building up Ospreay that whole time. The whole MJF feud makes perfect sense with him being the one to take down the Death Riders. It alluded to all of this. Like they say, based on the reports, that they didn't decide until this weekend, is what Sean Ross Sapp and PW Insider both said. And I guess I'll take their word for it. But if you just follow the television, you would think this was planned the whole time because it fits in perfectly with how the Hangman feud was at the start of the year.
It does feel like it. I think a lot of us, we were just blinded by like Ospreay's the new guy and like he was so good at the ring. But at the same time, Hangman has always had that crowd in the palm of his hand. Like he controls that crowd so well. And, you know, being at live shows, I mean, like every time Hangman is out there, the crowd is eating up everything he's saying and everything he's doing. So,
and when you know it all in, he's going to come back to his old music. It's going to get a massive.
I hope not. I love the new theme. I hope not.
No, man.
Marquine,
It's
the whole point. He needs to have the cowboy theme.
I am aware, but the theme is better. The new theme is better. It's
objectively better. He needs the old theme just for the title win. Like he can lose it.
What about this? Man. What about this? Hang on. Best of both worlds. You have him come out on a horse to the old theme, and then he gets off the horse and he does the entrance, and then comes out to the old one or the new one.
Look. Either way. I just hope it's not permanent. You use the old theme for the show, and then you just use the new one because the new one is better. But
I like the old one better, man.
I'm with y'all.
And I thought it was a great match. I think it's being a little overrated right now in the moment, but I still thought it was a great match. Brandon, for the record, what I don't believe is that report that Ospreay and Hangman were pushing for the other guy to win.
Yeah. And I think that's just so goofy.
That's ridiculous.
If that's true, we need to have a serious we have another talk about what people need to be like
pro wrestling. Start you know,
politicking for yourselves.
A little politics is okay. A little bit is okay. A little
I can believe that Will was pushing for Hangman.
I can believe that both guys were okay with the other one winning, but I don't believe for a second that both of them are like, oh no, this guy.
No, you beat me. No.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Well, but
to Kid's point though, he said that at the beginning of the match, you heard more "Let's Go Ospreay" chants. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that nobody actually believed that Hangman was going to win.
What were the Vegas odds on Hangman winning?
They had to be. It would have been a lot of money. You would have made a lot of money.
No, I like me and my friend actually had a debate of which finish would be more surprising, and I truly thought yes, Mercedes was never losing, but I truly thought it was equal. Like either Jamie or Hangman getting the upset. I thought the winners were just that locked in.
I'm with you. Honestly, I'm with you.
And so I think I would not rule out Ospreay winning that title at Forbidden Door. I don't think that's out of the question because I've long said on this show that we need an AEW title reign that goes like a month. I'm not saying it has to be this title reign because of how long we've invested in this story, but one time we need a champion to lose.
I just don't think they're gonna. I would agree with you. I'd be like, oh, it'll be fine. Think it's gonna be We're gonna finish this story and then you go with the Ospreay. Because I will say this, I'm going to piss off a lot of people when I say this. I don't think Hangman as champion is necessarily great. I think that's one of the things. I don't think he makes a great. Yeah, I think the chase with him is better. I think Ospreay as champion would be better than.
And to Kid's point, if Darby ever wins the belt, he can hold it for a month and lose it, and nothing will be lost.
Well,
you have some people
that I said
but he would be the ultimate chase guy. Like you get the chase, you get Sting to come in to hype him up. He wins the title, and then like a month later he's out. What they should have did with Yeet Man, they should have did with Yeet Man. That's what they will do with Darby, and it'll work out well.
Yeet Man might lose in like 2 weeks.
That's what I'm saying. Like the lose in 2 weeks thing.
It's very weird.
I love that we all just call him Yeet Man, but that's funny.
I think don't rule it out. That's all I'm saying. Don't rule it out because Ospreay.
No. If they do that, I'll be like, this was what they should have done. Because, like I said, I don't think Hangman as champion is as good.
But let me.
I could definitely see the chase being more important.
But this version, I haven't seen this version of Heyman as champion. I saw the 2022 version, but not this version. So
Josh, but let me ask you before we go on to the next match, because it's relevant here. Like, would it bother you if when Ospreay finally wins the title, he goes back to heel Ospreay?
I do feel.
I don't.
I feel like he should start. He should start as a babyface and end that title reign as a heel.
There you go.
I would love
because
to see
the thing is, and I would
Kingpin.
let's take what you let's say he's the one that beats Hangman, right? And it's a short reign. You're gonna have a section of the fan base that are not gonna like Ospreay because of that. You're not. And I think if you lean into that a little bit over time, and you do it over time, you do it over like gradual, where he's like, hey, I killed myself. I did all this stuff. I'm finally champion. None of you, not the you people chant, but more of the, I did all of this stuff for you. Fuck this. I'm doing it for me now. And I'm going to do what I want to do and go from there.
There's a lot of ground to cover with Ospreay as a babyface champion right now. So we could be talking about like him holding that belt for a year as a babyface before you even touch him turning a heel.
We can. I mean,
that's what Josh is saying. That's what they did with the United Empire. That was the point.
Yeah, exactly. I love the United Empire stuff. I thought it was great.
He decided, like, look, I'm done being the guy, the plucky sidekick to Okada. Like, now it's time for me to do shit.
He was like the little brother.
Yeah, that was the whole thing.
Yeah, and it was great. I think Ospreay as a heel could be great. The big thing is, though, like, you got to give it time for it to naturally happen.
But I think we're heading in a good direction either way, and I agree with Markeem, Josh. I mean, it can even more so than the Swerve stuff we talked about in April. This one, I'm well aware of how fragile it is because I don't think he can lose a title match again. I think we've hit the limit.
Oh, yeah. I'm with you, kid. That's it. Like, no more losing title matches. I give you that.
And definitely, if he's not going to win the title at Forbidden Door, don't put him in the title match.
No.
And I don't think
you do not want to have him lose.
Because here's what I thought. Okay, because at one of these shows, I figure it's going to be Ospreay versus Mystico. I don't know what you do with Ospreay at All In unless you're going to do the Mystico match at All In, because that's a big.
Listen, hey, if they do that, I'm going All In, y'all. I've been on the fence.
Take your spot, man.
Listen, man. Oh my god.
I don't even think. I think because Mystico right now isn't the best that he's ever been, but I think just that moment within itself will be. And I hate saying that, but it would be a cool moment to see them go at it.
Could you do it in a gauntlet thing they do? I can't remember what they call it.
They already did that kind of.
Yeah, he's won 2 of those already. I don't think.
No. I'm saying like the Mystico Ospreay stuff in.
You could do that.
I would just do it a match.
Okay, I would rather do that.
I'm throwing it out there as a way of like getting the moment of those two guys locking up, but not having a full match if Mystico isn't as good as he once was. That's what I'm saying.
He's just hurt.
Okay. So well, then let him rest up then and save it for All In.
Don't try to threaten me with a good time, man. Mystico is definitely not the worker he used to be, but the aura in that match. What did kids say? The Riz,
because that's the one.
They don't want the Rizzler involved.
That's the one other guy who they could put on All In
the Rizzler.
That I think you'd sell a shit ton of tickets if you said,
could.
Because that's a real match too. It's not like he's gonna be on the show. Because the one thing about Lucha fans that people probably don't get, Lucha fans are primarily pretty smart fans about a lot of things. It's why they kind of
and Mystico is gonna get paid so much because that's the only way he's gonna job to that man. That's the only way.
Tony's got the money to afford it.
Hey, this motherfucker never loses, man.
I figure the Arena Mexico show will be when we know like all of that.
I can't wait for that show, man. That's gonna be good.
Any last thoughts on the main event?
I agree kind of with everybody else. I think the match is kind of being overrated. I thought I disagree with necessarily the fans being tired. I also don't think the start of the match was all that great. I think it was
I was gonna get to that, Jeff.
I thought it was really good. It was good.
That 50-50 segment went on too long and it was kind of boring. Boring, bro.
It was kind of just like, what are we doing? Can we get to the stuff? And eventually we got there, but I think that was the other part of it. You're going on last. It's a long show. You kind of have to doing that is fine, but you also have to realize that you have to give the fans a little bit more than that to kind of wake them up or keep them.
And there was a couple moments. I mean, obviously the big one with the table. I feel like, and I'm not necessarily gonna get. I know Joe Lanza kind of talked about this, and I'm with him. I'm 100% with him. Like the table broke, didn't go according to plan. Then just sell it like, yo, this fucked up. We both hurt. Let's both. You know what I mean? Let's both.
It looked more brutal.
Yeah. Let's just both try to get in the ring. You know what I mean?
Wasn't that's one of those things that didn't translate very well live. At least like me, my friend, and the people in our section were like, "Oh, that sucks. Table kind of fucked up."
It was a botch for sure, but it looked like he still dropped him with the dead eye. So it's like, okay, he still did it, just didn't go through a table.
Looks better on TV though. Looks better on TV. And I do think it's a better match on TV. I thought like some of the storytelling things they were trying to do of like Ospreay being surprised at how hard Hangman's hitting him, and Ospreay's like real his growing frustration throughout the match that this is harder than he thought, and that's why he's kind of turning heel because he wants the match so bad that he's kind of losing himself a little bit, that he can't be as successful as he wants. That stuff all came off better on TV. Like none of that was really as transparent live.
Were you guys? And then another hold on, Alex. Another little thing before I forget. Little thing that made me go, was Hangman going for the BME and fucking it up because.
But I did like that it was used almost like he fucked it up and then like he missed the moonsault. So it was like it almost set up like him like he was trying something different and Ospreay caught him with it. So I kind of like that because it went outside his comfort zone. But like I also was surprised. Like I thought for sure we were gonna get a tease for the Tiger Driver in this match. And I was kind of surprised they didn't tease that at all.
I think that's what he was teasing on the table though. Before
I think
maybe, but they didn't acknowledge it on commentary. They just kind of said it was going for something.
True.
Like I thought for sure like the finish was going to be a Tiger Driver until Hangman won.
Great match. Ospreay's had 2 better matches than that this year, in my opinion. But great match.
I think this is the best match of the year, except for one other thing, which was Omega versus Gabe Kidd. That was better.
Nah, hell nah. Ospreay match on free TV was better than this.
No, I disagree.
Fair enough.
All right, let's.
Hey, this is definitely not DVDR because these motherfuckers will still be arguing. It was like fair enough.
Cage match too.
I've
also seen it twice now. Those matches are better.
Okay, congratulations.
He said, well played, chap. Well played.
First of all, kid, you taught me something. I didn't realize what it was called. The Surrender Cobra. I didn't realize that's what that is called.
You never heard
wonder what that phenomenon is. You see it all the time, and when people shock and they put their hands. I didn't realize that was what it was called. So I appreciate that.
Well, because it's especially done in sports when your team gives up like the game-winning touchdown, and you're depressed. That's why it's surrender. Go ahead.
Let's circle back to the top. Let's get to the show real quick. Chase, I know he wasn't feeling well. I hope he's feeling better. The one thing about being able to control the show is I can do things like this. I think you should open with the next match we're going to talk about, which is the women's tournament final, Mercedes Moné versus Jamie Hager. I think you should open with that match.
It's not
hot fucking match to open the show.
Well, it won't, right? Like,
what do you mean it won't? Why not?
They need to have time to do like the presentation of it or anything like that.
First time and open the show.
No. It'll You feel better? You feel better? You feel better?
I'm so proud of how humble you're being about this. You are a humble man.
Listen, I don't know a lot. I'm not as smart about wrestling as a lot of y'all, and I learn a lot from y'all, and I love y'all, and y'all teach me a lot. I appreciate y'all, but sometimes I be knowing what I'm talking about. Sometimes I know what I'm talking about.
I'll tell you what, you were 100% right because this was a perfect spot for it. You were right. One thing I was surprised by, and I'm not saying I missed this, but I was surprised they didn't have Martha Hart here to like present the whole thing. Because I don't need to see Martha. I love her.
I agree with you, Aiden. That's one thing you said. Like they need the time to be able to present, and I thought that they were going to do that, but the fact that she wasn't out there, I mean,
they do it on TV. Who the fuck knows?
Right? Yeah,
but
maybe she couldn't get in. Right, maybe she couldn't get in the country.
Possibly in the country.
You were right. You were right because we said it wouldn't happen, and it did. Yep. So, Brandon, you were correct. And now I will
it was
say
a great way to open the show.
No. Now I will say it was a mistake to open the show with this match. Speedball Okada would have been a better opener. Speedball Okada was a better match. Speedball Okada was a better match anyways. This match got the bump from being with the opening crowd, the hot crowd. The crowd, not so hot when Mercedes was on offense in the first half of the match. Even though it's the first match, everyone's excited, and Mercedes is working the heat, and the crowd is going down. I was there. The crowd, Jamie is awesome. Hold on. Jamie is awesome, and the match got better as it went along. The crowd was not hot with it the whole way. Mercedes brought them down. Whereas Speedball Okada, which was better anyways, would have been even better in this spot. You were right. I was wrong. Hold on. You were right. I was wrong because I said it wouldn't happen, and I was wrong for that reason. I think it was a huge mistake to open this show with this match. I think this match would have been the exact same any spot on the card, and you would have had more time to do the pageantry stuff that we talked about had it been done later. And Speedball Okada would have been a little bit better if it was opening as well. So yes,
I think you're right about it. Okada could have been better if it was the opener. I agree. I think this still had a great spot on the card for where it was placed. However, I think this match was significantly better than Speedball and Okada, and I'm a big Okada and Speedball fan.
Eddie said Eddie had a good point though. Okada might have just dogged it if he was in the opener though. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know.
I mean,
we don't know.
I will say this. I am not a fan of the set up the matches, and I get it. People won't agree. Set up your card so that you have these the rest matches. I don't like that. I like you like the New Japan. I like the New bullshit out the way.
Yeah, the Wrestle Kingdom 11 where it's like, man, this undercard, this is all right.
But the problem with that,
amazing.
The problem with that though is you got to train your audience. New Japan has trained their audience to know that like the best matches are going to be last in the card, and you don't see it with American audience. And I don't know if you could train American audiences to know that.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
Maybe, but I don't know. It's gonna take a while.
It would take.
I don't think
to do that, though, Josh.
There you go.
I agree, but I think it didn't matter as much on this card, right? But that 6-man at the end, I think would have been better.
We gotta get there.
We'll get there.
Would have been.
You're right. You're right. It was a victim of card placement for sure.
Like I don't think it should have opened.
Sacrifices had to be made.
I don't think it should have opened, but I think it would have been.
Man. You got to give the people a chance to take a piss.
I guess.
And I'd rather there be a match that I don't really care about to give the fans there a chance to take a piss, rather than the WWE style of, hey, let's chill for fucking 20 minutes with commercials and bullshit instead of putting on a fucking match.
Hangman and Ospreay would have been fine. They would have been fine. It would have been the opening of Hangman and Ospreay was what you would have expected it to be if it was immediately after Anarchy in the Arena anyway.
You're probably right.
But yes, I thought this match was disappointing. I thought it was like a 3.5 star, very good match. And by the way,
I'm the hater.
By the way, everyone I spoke to live agreed the Speedball match was better. On Cage Match, their rating is nearly identical. And
it's Mercedes is 8.53 and Okada's 8.52.
I had them the same.
Like I'm not 60.
I wouldn't
vote difference, but about the same. Yeah.
Nah. I'm with Kid. I think the Okada match is better. Not because y'all think I just hate Mercedes. But I'm gonna be negative to Kid's point. Good God. Because like they were quiet and not just in the quiet, like, oh, the heel's working over the face. No, because she's doing here's the thing. She's doing the character stuff in that whole segment, right? Problem is, that's one of the corniest characters in the history of characters. Like this chickens, my lady said it the best. When we were watching this, she was like, Mercedes Moné is what people that don't watch wrestling think heels are. Like the way she acts is what like people that don't know anything about pro wrestling, right? When they think of what is a bad guy in pro wrestling, right? It's as corny as this girl is, bro. Hell of a wrestler, cornball character, bro. Completely corny. Completely like leading up this match, right? And I wasn't here because I wasn't here, but I want to talk about it. The promo segment, right? With Jamie Hayter and Mercedes Moné. Jamie Hayter, such an amazing like emotion, fire, all that stuff. Like about as great as you could possibly get. And then she's acting against this mannequin, this fucking mannequin Like, bro, like
I am the Beyonce of women's wrestling.
That was a great line.
And I asked my girl 1,000 times, what does that mean? Like, she's a Beyonce fan. I'm like, what does that mean?
Like,
that she's the Beyonce of
right.
women's wrestling. That makes no sense.
What does that even mean? Like at this point, like I
He's
know
the diva.
and like
I know Beyonce's gonna kill that women's pay-per-view WWE's putting on.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that.
I've given her a pass because the matches have been so good, and I really like this one too. I think I went like 3 3/4 stars on it. But like all of the other stuff that people talk about with this woman, like it's all bad. It's all. Can we just say, man, that bell rings though? Like she's the opposite of what we always talk about, right? Like we always talk about, but the bell rings. But in this case, good thing the bell rings. Good thing the bell rings because everything else is so bad, bro.
We pretty much have all said that since.
But it's worse than I thought, Josh. It's worse than I thought. Some of those segments, like I've actually liked AEW television a lot more than I have recently. But like instantly when Mercedes comes on, I'm like, oh my God, it's all the shit I didn't like before. It's all in one person, one human being. Everything I didn't like before is all in one human on this show. Like literally everything else on the show I enjoyed, except this one human segment. Like this one person segment, bro.
She takes all the heat to save you from the rest of the show.
Yeah, everything else, I'm like, oh, I like this now. But then she comes on.
I don't know why. I understand the logic. I know Brandon's logic of the openers like should be hot, like should be big matches, etc. It gets the crowd into it you have an energized crowd with a hot match. That's a good combination. And I totally understand when it's a non-title program, like when MJF and Hangman opened the show, or Stenerico at like that Ring of Honor pay-per-view years ago when they opened the show. When it's a world title match, there's something about it that bothers me. And like, we cannot have it both ways. We cannot say they make the main event of All In feel so special by having Ospreay and Hangman close the show, which a lot of people said leading up to this pay-per-view. And for me to do that match in the opener, no pageantry, no nothing, and Mercedes just wins and we just go to the next match. It kind of does make this Owen subservient.
To be fair, she herself did try to make it a big deal. Like
she ran straight for that trophy when she won, and they shut off the pyro.
That was cool. I give her that. That was cool.
I really like this match. Maybe I like this match more than anyone here, but again, I think I agree that maybe it shouldn't have opened. Maybe it should have been third on the card or whatever, more in the middle of the show. I personally think that like the women's title match should have happened first. That way you could have had the whole like, okay, we know who the champion's going to be. Let's see who the challenger's going to be. But I still really like this match.
I get that from that standpoint. I get that. Yeah, I get that.
I really enjoyed it. So that's just my opinion.
I still got to give Brandon his props because it wasn't about what we thought would happen. Like I blatantly say, it's not going to.
Man. He called it.
I'll take him.
And I did like the whole thing
for parlays, so it's nice to have a win every now and then.
I did like them talking about like starting the night with one and then ending the night with one. That was a cool.
Excalibur kept saying we're booking in it with
exactly. That was a cool way of like kind of tying it together.
I know, but that's the same logic WWE gives for having the Royal Rumble winner open WrestleMania, and I never like it. I never like it there either. Like I don't like when they put Jay and Gunther in the opener.
Here's the thing. I think it's to be fair though, kid. This would be like if a Royal Rumble started the Royal Rumble pay-per-view and then ended a pay-per-view. Now, if they have Mercedes and Tony open All In, I'll be right there with you on that one.
Now they're not open,
bro.
But I'm just saying, like,
why, Josh? But Josh, if the opener is for like the third most important match on the show, then why not?
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you.
I'm not
think they're the exact same.
If it was me, I would have opened that show with the stretcher match myself.
Ooh, maybe.
Kid, the impersonation was so spot on. Like
we can move. By the way, we said we'd go by cage match order, and then Brandon totally subverts the order just to get
No, I mean I went to the main event. We can get our energy out in the main event, and then we can talk about the opener, which was one of the better matches on here. This was a roller coaster of a night. Great match, good match, great match, good match. That's way back and forth. FTR versus Dan Garcia and Nigel McGuinness. That was fine.
Why the fuck was this match so long? Why in God's name was this 22 minutes?
It was the third longest match of the night.
Yeah. I was shocked when I saw this match was 23 minutes long. It's like there's no reason.
FTR is FTR. I guess. guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
If
this was 15, it would have been perfect.
I was just getting ready to say 15 would have been.
Well, and also what kills the length and the whole match,
minutes.
like, well, not kill, because like I still enjoyed it, but like that they're trying so hard to tell that story, like with Tony Schiavone, which is not going anywhere in the match. There's no payoff to it, and we just end up wasting a lot of time with them taunting Tony Schiavone. They try to really sell that like the Shatter Machine to Nigel like killed Nigel to convey the emotion that they like traumatized an announcer and one of your favorite legends. And it just took too long. It just took way too long. I feel like after Garcia hit the 2 superplexes and then Dax like reversed it like with the twisting superplex and then Cash came in off the splash. If you went to the finish like right after that, I think the memory of the match would be a lot better. But then we added like 6 extra minutes for no reason. And,
they turned into WWE real like with the drama and all that other bullshit real bad at the end there.
And that stuff doesn't sell live, man. Like
it really doesn't.
We see him like Tony. We can't hear a word they're saying. Yeah, and we're just like watching it. Like it's,
and again, like what is Tony Schiavone gonna sucker punch Dax or Cash? Like, no, we're not. We don't want to see Tony punching these guys. Like, we want to focus on the wrestlers. I like Tony Schiavone, but we don't need to see it.
You know what else is weird? The Shatter Machine. Like I love that move. Looks devastating, but all they did was do it on the floor. Like no one's ever taken out and bleeding eternally and all that. Like,
the impact is on who's ever given the double knees. I think it's Cash, right? That does the knees because he's on the floor.
Because Nigel is old, you see, and he has like
and retired, and
so his ribs are softer. Like
I would say this: there was nothing wrong with this match in and among itself. It was way too long, and if it wasn't on pay-per-view, I think it would have come off better. Like if this was the main event of Collision, I think it would have been a greit match.
I feel like a lot of the matches were like that. If they were on Collision or if they were on Dynamite, like they would probably come across a lot better. On those. One I don't think so would be Ricochet versus Mark Briscoe in a stretcher match. I thought this match was great. It was an ambulance match. It turned into an ambulance match, but it was still really fun. I enjoyed this match a lot.
I enjoyed it a lot.
Is this, because if you want to call it stretcher match cool, you want to call it ambulance match cool, it's the greatest of either type ever. Like it's not even close. Not even close.
Well, what is even a contender?
I don't
like
there is not one.
I wouldn't even name anything.
Didn't Matt and Jeff Hardy have a really good one back in their feud?
Not.
Like,
no, probably not. No.
If
you gotta ask the question, no, probably not.
If you can't think of one,
you're talking about the one on SmackDown, right?
Yeah.
Like SmackDown.
Yeah, he did the
It was this.
Tony
this match was
because of Sabu and he was
Kane versus Shane.
Cool.
In an ambulance match, of course.
Also, I
love this match. This is
Batista
great.
And
Shawn
Michaels had one too, didn't they?
I don't remember.
Okay.
No, but
again,
the
ultimate one's out there. I don't fucking remember any of these being good.
Come on. The ultimate example is Randy Orton RVD right before RVD left.
Oh, I remember that one. It wasn't great. I remember it though. I do.
Because Randy was like about to fight for the world title at SummerSlam, and they changed the finish the day of for no reason.
Didn't he win that match?
He did.
Yeah,
it was like
RVD won, and then Orton hit the big RKO and like
him to win, and then Orton took him out at the end. That's the only one I remember.
This was better than that.
Any more thoughts on this? You got any more thoughts? We can go move on. We're good.
Yeah, this match is great. I don't
the shot at the end of the blood and the fucking scissors, man.
That was awesome.
Tony!
Also,
Tony! That
Mark deserves a fucking award for being like the blade job.
Listen, that blood,
brutal.
The Muda scale.
Yeah.
The Muda scale.
It's the Briscoe scale now, man. It's the Briscoe scale.
Yeah, it's the Briscoe scale now. There you go. You're damn right.
Those guys could get color like no one's business, man. They were
probably
awesome.
The worst match of the night: Hurt Syndicate versus the Sons of Texas.
So I have a question.
Exactly what we thought it was.
I have a question. How is it that Hurt Syndicate goes out to have these same matches on pay-per-view, every pay-per-view, yet they're like one of the most over people?
They have aura. They have aura, Josh.
I think it's because
they have. Aura.
This might be the only example in AEW where like it's a WWE style where like where the fans just like chanting that we hurt people. They like these guys. They think they're cool, and I think that's what gets them over right now. Is the
I don't know. To me, if you want to talk about somebody fumbling something.
Oh, hold on. Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Who's fumbling? Who's fumbling?
I'm saying Triple H.
Oh,
Not-
okay.
Oh,
I agree.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, we all know why these
Because
guys.
these
think
matches
they'll-
wouldn't be as looked down upon in their company. As well.
Right. And I think eventually we will get like a great match. I think they're just kind of like they're over. We'll just have them keep going on it.
Do you all give a damn at all? I heard the argument. Do you all care about them beating the Ring of Honor tag team champions?
No.
Like no one cares, right?
I would have cared. I would have cared.
No, no one cares.
If Tony
At this
cared
point,
about ROH, I would. That's what I'm saying.
We're at
past
this
that.
point at May 27, 2025. Nobody cares.
I'm tired of being past that though. Damn it, Tony Khan. Damn it, you motherfucker. Jesus Christ.
Hey man,
But yeah,
he's
you're
the only
right,
reason
you're
they're
right.
still alive. If they went
You're
to
right. Yeah,
Vince,
I know.
they would be
I'm
dead.
aware. I'm aware.
Dead.
I am aware.
Give
Is there
ROH to someone else to run. That's it.
is
I mean,
there
this is money he got.
can you do this Hurt Syndicate thing forever? Like it's hot right now.
No.
I get it.
No. I think
No, you can't. You cannot.
can't.
You cannot.
No.
No.
But
No, I think they're literally just treading water, waiting for FTR to get to do. I think we're just waiting for that.
They might have to wait a while.
and
Like,
also whatever the fuck MJF's gonna do.
No,
I don't know where this angle's going,
Well, 'cause
but I
MJF
imagine that eventually we're gonna get.
Well, the
something
thing is,
with it.
the other thing that people don't is Bobby has a limited amount of dates. Like,
Oh,
that
yeah.
was-
All these guys have a limited.
No,
amount of
but
dates.
he apparently has like limited amount of
The
dates.
guy we about to talk about has a limited amount of dates.
So
I didn't know that. What you mean? You know how many?
that was the thing that that's why he didn't sign right away, was because him and Tony were arguing about the amount of dates, because he didn't want to work as many dates as
Okay,
Tony wanted, which is fine. But my point is that at some point Bobby's not going to be around. So I think what you'll probably see is whatever happens with MJF happens, and they do probably some sort of angle where Bobby is gone, and then when Bobby comes back, then you get the MJF Bobby feud.
could they do a Freebird thing where Bobby gets hurt and MJF takes his spot in the Hurt Syndicate with the belt and defends
No,
with Shelton?
Not on
Or is
pay-per-view.
that too complicated?
Maybe on TV, not on pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, MJF has not wrestled on Dynasty or Double or Nothing because of this like feud, but he will wrestle it all in. So,
100%.
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
Well, but I say that because like, is that gonna involve them? Because if that involves them, then you can't be involved in
Maybe.
something else. No,
I mean, they keep bringing up the Pinnacle stuff. They keep mentioning that word Pinnacle. I mean, like they talked about it with FTR. So, like, are they gonna do FTR and MJF again?
Look. I'm glad my lady brought that up. She was like, "Weren't they together before?" And I was like, "Yes, yes, they were."
Yes,
you
they were.
observant weird woman. Yes,
Yes, they were.
And I love the stable as an idea, and then they fumbled it big time. And again, I think Dax basically pointed the picture that MJF was kind of selfish about it. So I don't know if they're gonna want to work with him again. I don't know.
I mean,
all right.
money talks, man.
Let's work through this show. I gotta be Chase here. Sorry. Okada versus Mike Bailey. This is, my opinion, probably Okada's
Careful. There we go.
second best match that he's had in AEW. I think I would put this a little bit above the Pac.
The
match.
Pac
I think
match?
I really would.
Pac- no,
I think I
Pac-
would.
I don't know
I
about
think
that,
I would.
brother.
I think I would.
That Pac match was pretty damn.
This
good.
match
don't
was
know about
great,
that,
bro.
brother.
This was a great match.
It was a really really
And
that
the opponent that
finish
you
was
didn't think that would
incredible.
get the offense and give what he gave to Okada, I thought this worked out very well.
I mean, I hear you, brother, but when the last time you watched that Pac match, man?
I've watched that Pac match at least 3-4 times. I have
Oh,
seen that
man.
match many times.
I don't know about that, but I'm with you.
Yeah,
Though. I'm with
this
you.
match is great. I'm not going to be upset if someone says the Pac match is better, but this is definitely one of the better performances. He went sub 20 minutes, which that Pac match was like 22 minutes. Obviously, the Ospreay match was like 30 plus,
Wait.
whatever.
I thought
As far as like the time that he gave, I mean, this was the best match he's put on, the best performance he's put on in AEW.
Speedball is the second or third best wrestler in this company. I don't think there's much to argue.
Look,
here's my
he was
thing.
the king of the indies for years, yo.
He
Yeah,
was
absolutely
Oh,
right.
I'm not saying it's surprising, but
No. Is give it another 6 months, and we'll see. Because the problem with Speedball is he gets very samey.
Yeah, I will agree. I'm a Speedball fan, and you're right. He does have a lot of the same spots he does over and over.
Man, does he get samey, or do people keep booking him against the same people?
Well,
is that what it is?
That's a good point. That's
why I said let's give it and let's see what happens. And let's see what happens. Maybe it won't. Maybe it's fun because he's not looked like the same since he's.
I'm happy as a guy who's been watching Speedball for years. I'm happy that like all of his normal spots he does every match are getting huge reactions here.
Yeah. That is cool.
So I like that a lot.
He doesn't wrestle the same as everyone else on the show. Sometimes
you're right. You're right. He's very unique.
What I think we're not appreciating enough what this was, because they're like 97% of the roster in this exact same spot with Okada. You're gonna get people complaining about the quality of the Okada match. We're not doing that because Speedball's that good.
No, I agree with you. I mean, we all came on here and said that this was the guy that could be like, "Hey, fuck you! If you're not gonna work, I'm gonna make this match great." Like,
and I think I don't know if it was Joe or Rich. One of them had like that hipster opinion of like, is Kyle Fletcher actually the best in the world? Which
it was both of them. It was both of those fools.
Ridiculous. Like the people that try to say it's not Ospreay, it's people trying to act like the smartest person in the room. Like, actually, if you watch wrestling, no.
I don't think it's Ospreay, by the way. No. The best on there.
Fair enough. Are you going to say it's a female wrestler instead?
No. I think it's Kano Stage Kester, man. He's my first Rollins. Far and away from me.
I can accept that answer, but my whole point is that Fletcher got all this hype because of matches with Will Ospreay and Mark Briscoe, and they were underrating Mark Briscoe's contribution to those matches.
Of course.
Watch Kyle Fletcher versus Okada and watch Speedball versus Okada. It's not fucking close. How good the two are.
To be fair, on their review of this show, they did say that.
I like that answer too, Eddie. I like that answer.
Mark Briscoe is. We have to really start talking about the fact that Mark Briscoe is severely underrated and is one of the
underpushed.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, underpushed. But he's going to be underpushed. That's just going to be.
I think that's Mark's personality, though. Is like he doesn't want to be pushed as the top guy.
I wouldn't say he doesn't want to.
I think he's underrated him, man.
If Tony wasn't pushing to the moon, I'm sure Mark Briscoe was like, all right, let's do it.
Right. He's just not. I think the thing is he's not Jay. He doesn't have that. Like even when he has the intensity, he's not Jay. Jay had that intensity of I'm going to kill you. You're going to die. And
Jay had
Mark
that
just doesn't. And Mark just doesn't have that. He doesn't get that.
But even when they were together, like people underrated Mark Briscoe.
Oh, no question. I mean, because he does all the comedy spots.
I think a lot of people underrate Mark Briscoe for so long because he was standing next to Jay Briscoe.
Well, do you guys think, before we move on, do you think the Kenny Okada match will be better than this?
100%. 100%.
Yeah, because you know why? Because I think both of them will understand the moment, and I think they will work it differently than what because people have this thought in their mind like they're going to see Wrestle Kingdom 12.
That's where I'm going to answer.
They're not going to see that.
If they're going to see,
here's the thing:
you're not going to get 2017, 2018 Okada versus Omega.
That's fine,
and I think that's what people need to realize.
Here's something to keep in mind, though.
I do think it'll be better.
Here's something to keep in mind, though, is that what was the best match Okada had in AEW so far? It was that match with Will Ospreay. Sure. And so who's been another one of Okada's biggest rivals the past 10 years? Omega. So I think that the two, because of the familiarity, they know, hey, we need to go out there. We need to have a fucking great match. So I think Okada's one of those guys, and maybe this is true, maybe it's not, where if he knows the person and he's worked with them before, that's when you see him bring back that old Rainmaker of like, I'm going to have the best match on the card.
I think it can be, but I just want to warn everyone. If I had to rank the three best wrestlers in AEW, I'd probably do Ospreay, Takeshita, Bailey in that order. So Okada having awesome matches with two of those three means nothing to me because everyone does. Kenny Omega wrestled the second guy on that list, Takeshita, in a 30-minute epic in a pay-per-view a few months ago, and it was about as good as this match was.
I disagree.
Keep in mind.
I disagree. I think Omega.
I'm with you, brother. I'm actually with you.
I don't know if I agree or disagree. I don't hate it. I don't hate that.
That's why it's an interesting question.
All right. Last thoughts on Okada versus Bailey.
if you get Omega Takeshita in the Omega Okada match at All In, like
I'm gonna be pissed off. I'm gonna be pissed off. I'm gonna be pissed off. I don't know about y'all, but I'm gonna be mad.
We can move on.
Tony Storm versus Mina Shirakawa. I don't really have much to say about it. It was a match. It was
solid.
It was good.
I did HLA at the end, and
I think this match was hurt by both being baby faces. That's what I'll leave it as.
But they were okay.
I think it was hurt with Mina not having a chance of snowballs hell at any moment to ever even make anyone believe she was going to win this match.
But
as soon as Mercedes won, everybody was like, "Oh, who's that? Come on!"
But they knew it before that too. They knew it before that
either
too.
way, I'm just saying.
But I mean, people they did do a good job of at least making it interesting, even if you knew what I like this a lot.
Tony's
the
selling
dirty secret
and
about
Mina's offense all were on point in this match. Mina looked better than I've ever seen her in AEW here in this match.
But that's the thing, and I'm with you on that, Alex. That's the thing. That's a dirty secret about Mina Shirakawa.
She's good.
She's a good wrestler,
right?
Not a great wrestler. You know what I mean? Like she's.
But you know what? Not everyone has to be great.
No, absolutely.
But a lot of people think she's great. You know what I mean? Well, she's good.
She's good. The thing is, she's good. She can be carried, which a lot of people sometimes can't be carried. And the things she does really well.
Yeah.
Right.
There was one. No, sorry, never mind. There was a couple of near falls where I'm like, oh wait a minute, what's going to happen here? And also like again, the leg work by Tony or the selling by Tony was fantastic. I thought they did a great job of making Mina look like a legitimate threat at some points in this match.
Y'all have fun with Thekla. I love you. I love you. I love you so much, man.
I'm not buying to the hype. Any other last thoughts about this before we move forward?
I think this match is also like I see it on Cage Match right now. It has like a 7.2, whereas the Hurt Syndicate match the Hurt Syndicate match gets a 6, and the FTR match gets a 7, and I think all three of those matches are about on the same level. So why is this match so much higher rated?
Really?
Because people are into Tony Storm. People are into Tony Storm.
I thought this was
people like Tony. There you go.
This is just like it was like a good 3-star pay-per-view match. Like I think that's why like it's a question I guess also of like what you care about in these shows, because it feels like this show is being rewarded because no match was like bad. No match was like
no, but I would see to me the Hurt Syndicate match was okay. Like it was an average okay match. I think the FTR match was good, but it was just good. And I think this match was I wouldn't say very good, but I definitely think was better than the other two matches. So I kind of get your point. You're naming off those ratings, and those ratings are high.
I think for a lot of times, like people like the match it wasn't great, but they didn't leave a negative taste in their mouth. You know what I mean? And so they're more forgiving. It's like, oh, you know what? It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. So like, okay.
I guess we value different things in wrestling, because this is why I would say Revolution was a better show, because I think having more great, even with more bad, to me is a better overall experience than I have like less great matches on this show. But hey, like the worst match was like still solid. It's like
the height in this match the show were better, but the lows in this match weren't nearly as bad either.
Well, I'm gonna skip forward to.
I'm usually with you, but I think it all depends on the show. Honestly.
I'm gonna skip forward to a match that before we talk about what probably people thought was the best match. Let's skip forward real quick. Let's go over this match. Don Callis family, Alexander, Takeshita, and Fletcher versus Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong, the Paragon.
Why are you saying all their individual names? You're just making this
because people don't know who the Paragon are.
Like, don't watch the show.
Should Adam Cole call Paul Levesque and see what's up? Should he?
You know what I would love?
I'm just asking.
I'm going to join what my buddy says for so long, where it's like, I just want these guys, Cole, Kyle.
Look at this man. Look at the people in this match. Look at the people in this match. Josh Alexander, Konosuke Takeshita, Cal Fletcher, Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong. Look at the roster of people that are on this show.
It's wasted.
And this is the second to last match. And this has a 6.58 on Cage Match.
It's not Cole's fault, though. That's the book.
No, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying.
I mean, to be fair, Cole has not lit the world on fire.
I just about to say that.
I was like,
He has it.
This call. Look at this.
Can the
But
poor guy?
I also agree with what Brandon says.
One?
Is Cole is like what out of 6 guys, he's probably maybe the 5th
worst.
guy.
He's the
no,
one
he-
I care about the least in this
I
match.
like Cole.
And I like Cole. I don't have a problem with
you
Cole.
said
but
you
look at
said you
this.
said in this match. Oh, he's a
six.
tier below all these dudes.
Yeah,
He's not in
he's-
terms of skill. Oh,
Yeah.
he's a tier below all these dudes, man.
The only thing he has better than anyone in this match is a better theme song.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
that is
I like
such a
Cole,
that
but
is
that's
such a yeah. That
Well, it's a waste. Well, this is where TK deserves criticism because you're using all this talent in this match and then setting the match.
imagine
up to
this
die.
match
Wasting-
opened the Dynamite. You
Yeah.
opened Dynamite with this match. Oh
This
my
should have been
god!
safe
Or-
for
I got
or-
all
no
these 6
reason
guys.
to give you.
Or if this was the second match on the show,
Maybe.
instead of FTR. Yeah.
this would have been that'd have been a better spot. They would have gotten like no one would have been like yay about the match, but and I think the match
The crowd would have been
better,
awake.
too. And I think the match
Takeshita,
would've been-
Fletcher, Riley, Strong, look, Alexander. Look at the people in this match, bro.
And
Honestly,
I'm glad-
if you had saved this for television, this match could have been a sleeper match of the year, maybe.
like a TV match of the year, 100%.
Yeah, there you go. TV match of the year, sure.
This
Hey,
is way
as it
worse
was,
than
I'm
Jericho
glad-
This is
versus
the piss break
Bandito.
match.
Way
I'm glad-
worse.
I'm glad that this probably guarantees that Josh Alexander will probably do the G1. So I'm cool with that. I'll take it.
Yes.
We'll see. I don't know.
I'll take it.
Did you see what Tony Khan said? Like, oh man, I really wish I wouldn't have sent Kevin Knight over to Japan. Like, if I know he was going to be this good. I don't know about that, Marquine.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway.
You got anything else to say about this trio
We have
match
nothing
here?
to add. No one actually
Nothing
was.
to add.
Who are the trio champions? Who are the trio
Put the
champions? Do you
TNT
remember?
title on Kyle.
Ah,
He said,
Remember
"What?
the trio
What?
champions?
Ah,
Let's
man.
talk about
Come
them.
on,
We're going to
Brandon.
talk about them.
we're about. Damn, man.
Anarchy in
Brandon-
Arena. And I'm
Brandon
gonna
wants
read
all
off
these
everybody. No,
On TV, he doesn't even watch.
I'm not-
I feel
I'm
like
not-
if we talk about the Anarchy in the Arena, I think we need to let Kid go first.
yeah, let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
I'm gonna read off everyone's in this match.
All right.
Kenny Omega, Swerve Strickland, Shibata, Hobbs, and Joe, Willow Nightingale versus Claudio, John Moxley, Marina Shafir, Willa Yuta, Matt and Nick Jackson, and the Anarchy in the Arena. Is this the best match they've done? Is this the best match?
Yes,
The best Anarchy
I-
match, yes.
Can
I
I
will.
say, okay, let me say one thing and y'all can talk about it. Go for it. I feel like I would love to see as someone who loves music, I would love them to have a match where like the winner of the match gets to set the playlist of this match.
Listen.
Because like, hey, we can
Listen,
control
hell
the
yeah.
environment. We can control the environment of this match, where we can have our music that we choose to be played throughout the entirety of this match. And granted, most of these matches you're gonna play music for the first 20 minutes, and then like the last 10, 15, it's just that's fine. You can do that. I would love to see them do that, where they have like someone can control the arena, control the atmosphere, and they can pick the playlist of this match. I would love to see that, considering what we saw here in this match.
I'm with it.
Go
You
for
know
it.
why? You know why? Because if they do this again and Willow Nightingale's in it and they do your stipulation, it's gonna have the best music in the history of the fucking match because her music taste is immaculate. But go ahead.
So this match, I've attended all 4 Anarchy in the Arenas. I've attended every single
This
one.
has to be the best. This has to be the
It
best.
has to be,
This
no
is-
question.
This is I actually rewatched the original yesterday, and I think if the original was not the original, and the first time you saw the gimmick and the first time you saw the music play, I think it would be pretty clear that this is the better of the 2 matches. Some people will disagree. Marquis might even disagree. By the way, Marquis, the Eddie Kingston pre-show promo is not part of the match. Let's separate the two.
that promo was great.
Wait,
When he
wait,
just-
wait,
yeah,
wait,
that promo
wait.
was incredible.
What
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
saying.
You cannot include the promo in the
Tony
evaluation.
Khan,
Like,
this is your fault.
Why?
when you rewatch the original, what makes the original great is that one, there's like 14,000 people in the T-Mobile Arena. It's a different atmosphere. Menard and like Kingston
What was
both
that?
bleed buckets like
Buckets.
right away. But if you watch that match, like the actual crowd stuff they do isn't that nuanced. They're just doing crowd brawling, but it's so cool because the fans are actually involved in the match, and then they get to the spots that all the matches have. In this match, not only was the presentation of the music by far the best it's ever been, because I was there when Wild Thing played, and yes, that was really cool. Wild Thing only played like twice. Watch it back. It's only 4 minutes of the 25-minute match. It's 2 run-throughs, and that's it. And then it gets cut off right away by Jericho. In a really creative way, he cuts it off.
Yeah.
The way they went, and this is where I will separate my personal bias from like what most wrestling fans would think. I love wrestling that is varied, because I think we do an injustice to wrestling sometimes where we say, if you like lucha, watch this company. If you like violence, watch GCW or ECW back in the day. If you like comedy, watch Chikara. If you want high spots, watch PWG. And we kind of put all these styles like assigned to different companies. What I like about this company is that you can get a bunch of everything in the same company, in the same match. And that's the stuff that I really like about AEW. That in this match, the Young Bucks are coming out in Founding Father gear, and it's unquestionably comedy, wacky,
corny
as
shit.
Corny
as shit.
But it works. It works because they're assholes. Because they're asshole heels, and it is the original first pay-per-view of AEW. And they're arrogant enough pricks to genuinely view themselves as the George Washington of AEW. And coming out like that just works. And it's not something that they do just for the entrance. They keep it on for all 35 minutes of this match. And it's goofy, and it's funny, and it's corny, and it's wacky, but it works. And in that same match, you have staple guns into people's tongues. You have flaming table spots. You have high spots from TLC matches back in the day through tables and ladders and chairs. You have Shibata in New Japan Dojo trunks, no street gear whatsoever.
That did not throw you off a little bit? That was the one thing for me in this match that threw me off, is the fact that there wasn't a little bit more of like, hey, like Shibata or Swerve. Swerve, you come out in this elaborate Predator gear. That would be cool if you were in the main event of a world title match. But this is Anarchy in Arena. Willow comes out in her fucking suspenders or whatever she had on, overalls. And why? And everyone, why are you coming out in this elaborate gear on here?
And freaking Hobbs coming out looking like just like the meanest, baddest motherfucker that is.
Hobbs had Tim's on, man. He was ready to
play. If Pac was in this match, Pac always only ever wears his ring attire.
That's who Pac is. That's fine. That's who he is.
Shibata and Pac for this match, would it have been as funny? Like, or would it be like as unusual?
But I think because it's Shibata, I think it works. And like it's Shibata, like in the match, when Joe doesn't come out and Swerve comes to ask Shibata and Hobbs where Joe is, he's talking to Hobbs and he's talking to Shibata, and Shibata's just ignoring him, just not responding, just all business, focused on work, here to kick ass, as he always does. And I thought that was Shibata playing true to his character, true to his form. He's not conforming who he is because of your stupid street fight rules. He's just going to do the same gimmick that he always does and goes through the match. Yeah. And I like that in this match, you had a variety of all those different things I talk about. The violence, the high flying, the comedy was all combined into one in a way that made sense with the characters everyone was trying to play. I like that this match accomplished getting Hobbs over even more so on more of a main event level, because he's intentionally feuding with Moxley for most of this match. One of the big stories of the match is that the Death Riders can't take him down. He's taking table spots and recovering no problem. He's impermeable to the chair shots. All that stuff helped him, even though he's not involved in the finish of the match. That's what I think creative pro wrestling can do. And then, yes, going from the Founding Fathers goofy-ass music to the I'm so excited music to going to Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. And Let the Bodies Hit the Floor is an objectively bad song. It's a bad song. But it fucking works. It fucking works because it's playing on the nostalgia that these fans have for 2000 to 2001 pro wrestling. And it clicks and it connects. And it doesn't fucking matter that the song is bad. And that's why it's powerful. That's why it's powerful that the whole arena is screaming and chanting this song that is a bad song. Because, hold on one second, Alex. Because it works. Because it fits. And that's the magic of it. And you guys have probably seen now the videos on Twitter circulating of the live feed of this match. I thought this was still a 5-star match regardless. But watching it back on video, it's not quite the same. Like, it's not quite the same as what that atmosphere was like. I have never, ever seen anything like it. It peaked very high. It sustained for a while. And just looking around, commenting on the marvelousness of it, that this bad song that we're all nostalgic for, while two of the guys in the match are in Founding Fathers gear, and there's violence everywhere, and the crowd is losing their minds. We talk all the time on the show about people go to WWE shows to be part of a concert. Fuck that concert. This is a concert. This is how you do pro wrestling concerts.
I wish they would have promoted this company years ago. Like, join the party. Like, this is what you really want to come for. And like, this was like the perfect example.
Josh. Remember you made the point about ECW? That's what Paul Heyman did. That's what Paul Heyman did. Join the party. Join the revolution. Yeah.
And that's what the fans like us that love this match so much, that keep coming back to Double or Nothing and watch this match, it's because you do feel part of the match. You do feel, even more so than the generic line of pro wrestling is so great because fans are part of the entertainment. They're part of the action. It's even more enhanced than this match, where the match is for you and it's with you. And say what you want about Double or Nothing. Say what you want about Vegas or not Vegas or all the problems people have had with the shows in this past. When you go to this show, you get to be part of this experience. You get to be part of this match. And that is what makes this company special. Excalibur has a line in the match where he says, this is what AEW is all about. And I agree with him, because it has all the great things AEW has to offer in very different forms while building off existing stories that they had told beforehand. And even something as simple as Mark Briscoe in dried fucking blood coming back from the ambulance.
So cool.
If you weren't going to have a surprise return, this was the best thing you could have done, because if you're a true fan, you would know that Mark Briscoe and Gabe Kidd had that segment that was awesome months back. And this perfectly ties into that. It was even mentioned on commentary, and it was a perfect way to encapsulate the match. And Mark Briscoe's the perfect character to pull that off, being the guy that can die in an ambulance and come back and save the company. And the crowd accepts it because they love Mark Briscoe so much. This was awesome. LB didn't like the finish. I get it. I didn't mind it. I think the story of this match based on...
Whoa. How can he like the finish?
No. He's not talking about the swerve stomp or the one wing and angel flight. He's talking about the Death Riders being trapped in the ambulance.
What's wrong with that?
I thought it was good.
I thought it was clever, and I also think if you watch this match, based on the introduction to the match and the ending of the match, the main antagonism in this match is really more about the Young Bucks than it is the Death Riders, based on obviously how they determined the finish.
I mean, why was the ambulance still there? You know what I mean? Like, I can understand how he feels about that, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it, but I can see where he's coming from.
I think well, now you know, and doesn't Mark Briscoe coming back help it a little bit? It's like
it did not affect the match at all. Yeah.
So I thought I like this. You can't even count the number of crazy, like in the first Anarchy in the Arena, the Santana and Ortiz doing a splash off a ladder through a table through Luke, Matt Menard, and Cool Hand Luke. That's like one of the signature spots of the match. They do that like 5 times in this match.
Everyone, like the thing that they love about the first one is Eddie Kingston walking down with the gas can. Yeah. And he almost, or like pretending like, hey, I'm gonna put his gasoline on Bryan Danielson, set on fire. Last year, somebody got set on fire. We saw somebody got set on fire last year. Like,
that Eddie Kingston spot is my favorite spot.
It's great. It's a great spot. We saw someone get set on fire last year.
And if you compare the star power of that match, God bless these guys, but that match has Cool Hand and Matt Menard, Jake Hager, Santana and Ortiz. This
and
match
Bryan Danielson standing in the stands, just punching because he had a fucking a concussion and he couldn't do anything. So he's just standing there not doing anything in the stands. Yeah,
he does nothing until the finish of that match.
Wipes that one, bro.
The last thing I will say on it is that it was cool to finally have the faces win, and I do think it does enhance the experience of the match, because you're watching this communal experience, and then you see the conquering heroes win and celebrate and motion to the crowd, and you as a fan are actually happy. I know this shit's fake, but you are actually happy watching the faces go over, and this match that you were celebrating and cheering throughout. Last year when Jack Perry won, it was just kind of flat. It's like, oh yeah, the assholes won in the main event, and the show just goes off the air. Here, it's like we're all partaking in the same party together and having a communal celebration of the victory team as well. And I'm happy the faces finally won. And I think that's another reason why it actually meaningfully added to this match as well. 5-star match, best Anarchy in the Arena match ever. And a reason I will keep coming to this show, because this experience is so much fun.
I don't have much more to add. I think Kid spelled it out perfectly about why this match is amazing. I just want to say, I would end this match kind of feeling like about Anarchy in Arena matches. And after this, I'm like, I'm sold. I'm like, bring on this shit every fucking year. I don't care, because I'm so excited it's hit. I was like, okay, this is funny. And then when the bodies hit the floor started, I lost my fucking mind. I'm just like,
it wasn't even that the fans lost their mind. It's that it started and they started jumping.
I have seen so many
all the fan cam videos on like Instagram and stuff are way better than what we saw on paper
right now.
So
and I have to stop every time and watch it just because seeing that moment of the crowd just going batshit is insane.
But they should cycle out and just do more songs. And I feel like if you'd have done again, I put on Twitter like if you did break stuff by like Limp Bizkit on top of this, like that, it would just been crazy on there.
I'm so happy with how good this match was. It was fantastic. It was the best one. Easy 5 stars. I fucking loved it. And I mean, kids spelled out exactly why this match is so special.
Got emotional. Like last year I got emotional because I got the Sig Danielson song live, and that was very special to me. But this year was different. I was just like midway through like the third rendition of Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. You look around and you're just like, what? Look at this world. There's nothing else in this universe that could give you like this combination of sensory experiences
especially
in one
World Wrestling Entertainment.
Yeah,
definitely not them. Definitely
No,
don't give a shit about the wrestlers to care about them.
You know that's funny. You know what's funny, kid? You don't know what I'm gonna say, kid. That's what makes it so funny. You don't know what I'm gonna say. You have no idea.
I know it's your favorite promo of all time. It's one of the best promos ever.
And like that spot is my favorite spot in pro wrestling history. Eddie Kingston covered in blood, looking like a horror movie villain, going, "Let me just set this guy on fire." Amazing. But this match is better. This match like completely shits all over that match. Like I watched as soon as it was over, I was like, "Let me pause the pay-per-view and let me watch the first one." Like the moment it was over, I was like, because I got to watch it on the next day. Like as I was grilling and stuff, and I was like, pause it, watch the first one. I was like, okay, that's better. Like it's just better. Everything about it is better. Paced, the use of the music is better. The even the use of Gabe Kidd is like perfect because like you're like, oh okay, the faces are about to win, and like, oh yeah, this fucking guy, I forgot he was like involved in all this stuff, right? And then if you couldn't get Eddie, I see them talking about it in the chat. If Eddie's not ready, Mark Briscoe was the perfect substitute, right? Because like
I agree.
The only thing that would have made this the greatest match of all time, though, is if Eddie's music hit. Like after the game came, oh my god, oh my god. Oh, but yeah, amazing.
Like,
yeah, I loved Gabe Kidd like shaking his head at the fans, like, nope, not gonna happen. That was a great touch.
Hey, I love it because like as Josh knows, like we watched all those fucking Paul Heyman ECW pay-per-views after the first Barely Legal, or after the only Barely Legal. And every pay-per-view would end with some hodgepodge of people coming out and music playing and all that stuff. This is like that times infinity, bro. This is the perfect version of that. And honestly, I'm excited about what they try and do Anarchy in the arena next, but I don't think it can get better than this thing here. I really don't.
I want them to try.
I don't think it can. I want them to try, but I don't think it can, bro.
Any last thoughts about this pay-per-view before we move forward? We gotta go through a bunch of stuff.
One thing about this match is I think one of the things that made it really great was they pushed Hobbs to the fucking moon in this match. And they let Willow fucking shine like a fucking crazy.
I'm so tired of Hobbs and this like when he gets hit on his back and he just slowly turns around. Like I'm so tired. He does it too much. You do it too much, bro. You do it too much. But yes, it's fine.
But I also wanted to say that like they got them really over. And one thing I was going to talk about this on the opener with the women's match. You got a lot of people that like this dog Mercedes saying, oh, she's got creative and she doesn't lose and she does all the things. She gets so many people over in her matches. Like, even if her match, even like when she's on offense and all of this stuff that where it does like, you're like, what's going on? But at the end, like, yeah, she beats people, but they're not worse off for it. And I think that's something that people completely like they go, oh, like somebody can win all the time, but if they're winning all the time and they're getting the other person over, more power to them. I'm fine with that.
I agree. Good point.
So the last thing I'll say on the match is this officially proved It was awesome. Best music they've ever done. There's some people that believe you should play one song for the whole match. Never do it. It'll never
you should
work.
do a playlist.
You can
couple
rotating is fine, but there's people when the original happened. There were people back then who were saying Wild Thing should have just played the whole 25 minutes.
No.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna play? Like, you're gonna find a way to do like Inagata Davida for like the whole match, and then people go, "Is this ever gonna end?" No, it doesn't fucking end. The song goes on forever. So
just play the entirety of The Wall.
All right.
Awesome.
Great show. Great show. You know, I think everyone agrees. Great show. Any thoughts before we move forward about Best of Super Juniors? Like, I only watched like 2 shows. Not even 2 shows. Not even 2 shows. 2 matches. I watched 2 matches. Is anything we can talk about before we move forward?
Real quick.
Best of Super Juniors.
This is the most perfectly acceptable tournament I've ever seen in my life. Everything is good. There's nothing like terrible. Everything is just good, but nothing's all that memorable. Kosei Fujita just won A block today. I don't know if y'all saw.
I'm so fucking happy that's not Hiromu Takahashi for like the 20th time.
Of course.
Yeah. But I think early on you could tell he wasn't going to win because they were like kind of establishing like, oh, these guys have kind of passed him now. So
right. But I'm just saying,
my lady was very upset Clark Connors didn't win, but I told her it wasn't going to happen. Just the way the club blocks to say it wasn't going to happen. But B block, I don't know. I don't know, honestly.
A lot of people lead right now.
A lot of people saying Robbie Eagles. Did it end? Did it? It was today, right? I've been working.
It's tonight, I think.
It's tonight, yeah.
Yeah,
but it would make sense for it to be Robbie Eagles for them two to just face off with each other. And if that's the final, has a chance to be something really spectacular.
I want to say it's nothing that we didn't already know. Nick Wayne is going to be a fucking stud.
He's so
good. That's a prodigy.
He's 19 years old and he's this fucking good already, man. It's like, it's insane.
Like,
he's a
also
prodigy.
I like Vegeta a lot. Vegeta is really, really good. Very, very talented guy.
All right, maybe he can get bigger and be an actual main event guy. I don't know.
He's young.
Do you have any comments on the Paul Levesque shows from this past weekend? Saturday's main event and or Battleground.
I watched.
Go ahead, Alex.
I watched Saturday night's main event live, and it was the most forgettable fucking show I've seen all year.
Looked horrible.
I mean,
even the WWE fans were like, "This show sucks."
This show's they're
turning. I'm seeing
good.
They're turning.
Good. It's about fucking time. This was a nothing show. The commercials killed the momentum of every fucking match, and they had to speed run the fucking Cena interfering in the main event and the Cody challenging them to a tag match. It's fucking bullshit.
Vic put a great
okay, so during the Jey Uso Logan Paul match, John Cena came out, almost cost Jey Uso the match. Cody ran out, took out everyone. Jey Uso retained. It's going to be Cena and Logan Paul versus Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes at Money in the Bank.
Amazing.
Cool.
Vic put something very good in the chat today. Join our Discord. If you're not in there, join our Discord. But Vic put something and was like, hey, is the fact that the perception for AEW a little bit better right now because of how mediocre WWE is right now? And I feel like there's something to that.
I think it's, but the thing is, we saw
on top of what they do.
I was saying, but I think we saw this starting to happen before we started seeing this even before the Royal Rumble, and you didn't see like even going to the Royal Rumble, everyone thought WWE was super hot. Coming out of the Royal Rumble, everyone was like, and then we kept going. So I think you're just seeing both things happen at the same time, which is interesting. So, but I don't think it hurts that they're both happening at the same time.
Yeah, it's not nothing. It's not like because the AEW television just naturally got better this year, and then like WWE television at the same time went this way. So like, yeah, it's kind of converged at the same. It's kind of eerie how that happened, right?
I think there is something to it for sure. Like, but because like it's not a coincidence that like when AEW started, that's when WWE was at its lowest point of like Vince McMahon bullshit, and AEW kind of swept in under the guise of like everyone was tired of WWE. Do I think that there's people are turning to like seeing AEW is better now because WWE's shit? No, not necessarily. I think that people are just noticing like how good AEW is doing, and it's making WWE's shit look worse. Exactly.
It's a good point. That's a good point, Alex.
The star power is better now too. I mean, I was my friend and I were looking at the Double or Nothing card this year versus last year. Like Kenny Omega being back matters. Like he's a very, very relevant act on the show. Like they have got like Will Ospreay last year was like in a random match on the opening card of the card.
Yeah, Roddy was killed him. Goddamn.
Hangman wasn't even on last year's show.
Yep.
And this year, like Mercedes is having a big profile match like she did last year, but now she's also having it with Jamie Hayter, who was also not there last year. Like you have Copeland came back at the start of the year too, which I did think mattered and I did think helped. They got a lot of guys that matter. They just got like Joe Swerve, like you got guys up and down the roster that feel important, that feel like someone you should care about. And I don't think it's always been like this. So WB declining helps, but I think we're ignoring like that doesn't give enough credit to the fact that there's more relevant guys in AEW now than were like 6 months ago.
That's true.
I don't think it's directly like it's not the only reason, but it's certainly a benefit to them.
Yeah, like it's not nothing, but I don't think it's that big.
Correct.
And the pro scrum presser.
Yeah.
For a Double or Nothing. Horrible questions asked to
they always ask bad questions. Every
ask you, hey, when are you coming back to this city? Where's Scorpio? Who's Scorpio Sky? Are you kidding me?
Scorpio Sky?
People, I don't know. It's like people complained that he overpushed Scorpio Sky, and now they're like, where?
Again, I think it was a classic example of
where is he? Why are you not using him?
I think it was
shit.
Because Tony has shown that, like, if you worked during the pandemic, he was going to reward you for doing that hard work. Scorpio was one of those guys. I think he tried to make Scorpio work. It clearly didn't work. And this is the result.
Scorpio Sky, bro. What are we doing?
It's like I said on this show. Tony Khan was one of those dudes back in 2005 that loved Scorpio Sky's footage on those PWG shows. Sure. I was like, nah, this guy's nothing. Tony Khan was like, you're a
Tony
hater.
Tony was asked about WWE counter programming. He gave a pretty good answer. I enjoyed this answer. But the fact that we've seen now, came out today, that they're loading up this day of AEW All In. You got NXT, Great American Bash, and Saturday Night's Main Event. I don't know, man. I feel like this is dumb. Just
few things. Number one, I got to give Tony massive props for handling this question better than he did a few years back when they asked it when he was with CM Punk, whatever, where like
that was Brawl Out. It was the same show as Brawl Out.
Yeah. Where like he's like, oh, I'm not going to take the shit lying down, blah, blah. He was way more mature about answering it this time. But as far as WWE, putting stuff against AEW pay-per-views, they did it with Battleground. Ain't nobody talking about Battleground right now. So fuck it.
Now there are people talking about it. There are
people talking about it.
People that don't. No one that matters is talking about that fucking show. No one is going to remember that show. There was nothing memorable.
As long as
that good of a show.
As long as you have one of the biggest
Cena matches,
one of the biggest voices in wrestling media who will not shut up about NXT.
Who?
Alvarez.
Will
not shut up.
It's not like that.
No.
Like you're acting like he's
but the fact that it is the same because he will not criticize that show. Him not criticizing that show is not good.
No, I don't know if I agree with you there, man. He ain't Raj Giri. Raj Giri says shit like TNA could be like the second.
Why are we talking about that?
I'm just saying, though. Like,
take your fucking money and go away. Take your fucking money and go away.
But if they do these counter to Brandon's point, like when WWE is having this problem where the whole model is about moments, turns, surprises, all that crap, and they do all that stuff at WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, etc. When it's not those big shows and they don't have surprises to give, like Cody coming back, no one really cares. Like they don't have the big moments throughout the show, and the cards aren't that good for all the reasons we've always talked about. And you put it head to head against AEW, honestly, all it seems to have been doing so far is it kind of just stands out how much better AEW's pay-per-view is than their pay-per-view. And if they do that at All In, I think it'll be the same problem. Yeah, you'll get people being like, oh, yeah, main event was no one.
I don't think we've seen this weekend what's happened, but it hasn't seemed to be working either. That's the other.
Because they're doing dog shit stuff.
Part.
They put Oma Fendi against some random white guy. I don't know. The main event was a TNA title match, so that way that's a good way of they like. Oh well, this show didn't do as good as our regular stuff. Oh, because TNA was in the main event. They're being very clever about not putting their main stuff against AEW. So that way they could always post the blame on, well, we didn't put our main guys on there, so that's why it didn't do it.
But the thing is, if you're going to do this, you do that. You go, fuck this. We're putting our best shit against. They're not going to do it
because I don't.
But that's what. If you're not going to do that, then you don't do this.
They're doing it they're doing it enough just to fuck with them. They're not trying to beat them. They're just trying to fuck them.
Alex, let him speak.
No, let Alex go. I hear his point. What are you saying?
But they're not trying to beat them because they know they're not going to right now, especially with NXT. They're not going to put a WWE pay-per-view against AEW because they don't want to risk it. They got stockholders to take care of. They need to make sure those numbers are still
why
good.
Do they care? Because
they just want to fuck with them. Because Tony Khan is
the thing is they don't give a shit about the pay-per-view money.
They cared about the fact that Tony Khan is the only one that can outbid them for talent. He has more money than WWE and TKO combined. He can outbid them for every talent he wants.
It's not even outbidding. It's the fact that he's willing to pay them.
Yes.
And
so they don't like that. That's why they're trying to get everything under their thumb. That's why they're working with TNA. That's why they're working with AAA. That's why they're trying to get a foot in Japan. They want to have a foothold in every aspect of wrestling because they want it all to funnel through them. And they don't like that Tony is the only guy standing in their way that can challenge them.
Oh, so you're saying the reason why they're coming off more aggressive counter programming, it's solely to fuck with Tony Khan. Like
absolutely, it's to fuck with Tony.
There's
no other reason to do it.
I think it's because Tony has started paying people, and
it's a combination of both.
I think
sure
they cannot have their pay scale get fucked with.
Absolutely, you're right, and that's what I'm saying. They don't like Tony because Tony's fucking with their payments. Because they got to pay guys more. God forbid you pay the wrestlers more money. You know, you can't afford to give your
the thing is, they can't. The part of that is, like, I talk about it on here. Every once in a while, other people will talk about it. The debt that is due next year, which isn't a big deal. It's not a big deal, but it is a big deal in that they do have to make a pretty good payment on it. That's why they do all this shit.
I want to call attention to the chat though, because my boy Prince of Strong Style, I didn't know you was here. We gotta get you on one of these one day. And my other boy Taylor, gotta get you on one of these one day.
Oh, Taze, motherfucker.
We talk about how they counter program AEW, but doesn't this just hurt NXT more than anything? Because they've been struggling.
NXT has been a pawn in the wrestling game for at least 10 years.
Yeah,
they started going after these guys because Ring of Honor was starting to get big, and it's like, let's poach their talent. And then AEW shows along and like, yo, we got to go after them and make sure that they don't do anything. They've been a pawn in this game for 10 years.
I think there's still a part of Triple H that is bitter that the Bucks and Omega didn't come to WWE and they started their own company. I bet you he's still a little bitter about that.
Well, I don't know if they'll scale back because that would involve them admitting a mistake, and they're not big on that. But I don't think this is working. Like
it's not working.
No, it's not only hurt them.
I don't think it's been working.
No,
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. This past weekend, we'll see what happened.
That's fair.
Kids saying it don't even matter. Like who gives a damn?
I can't think that those Forbidden Door ticket numbers came out. And TKO was happy about that. I can't think that at all.
No, of course not.
Okay, but like, even though that's true, like, would TKO really be okay? Like, with burning, like, if they burn a high-profile Cena match on Saturday night's main event against all
Cena.
That's my entire point. It's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna meaningfully change pay-per-view buys or ticket sales for All In. And then something that maybe could have made you money, like at some random B show in the fall, now is just ruined just because you wanted to stick it to AEW. I think you might get to a point where all they can do as competition is mediocrity, and then the mediocrity just doesn't do anything, and we just do this every cycle with no meaningful impact from either side. I think
I'm gonna venture a guess. Them doing this Saturday night's main event and a pretty lackluster NXT show is probably going to hurt them more in the long run, because like now coming up next month or next July, when they're doing the ones against All In, people are gonna be like, oh, well, I saw what they did last time. It wasn't that good. So why am I going to fucking waste my time now?
Like, I cannot believe they put on that shitty of a show on Saturday.
It was so bad. It was horrible. It was horrible.
Like, I cannot fathom.
I was flipping through my phone. I was more entertained by fucking shit on my phone than what was on the television, because the commercials killed it.
Everybody who watches WWE just are on their phone. Nobody pays attention to these shows. If they pay attention to these shows, they will know how shitty they are.
You know what's so funny? You know
Am I
what's so
lying?
funny, man?
You're not.
Right,
That's
right.
what's funny.
You're like honestly, I think the one thing people are like is cooling off and all that stuff, and it is people just want like good wrestling, bro. Like people just want good, compelling wrestling, and like this whole holding pattern booking that Triple H has is finally caught up with this dude, man.
Good.
The fans are bored. Nobody's excited. None of the moments feel like moments anymore. Like, yeah, you still got these people going to the shows because they're sheep, and at this point they're gonna go to all the shows, and they're chasing the dragon of the pop culture relevance and the mainstream relevance, right? But nothing is exciting. The only thing that has ever been exciting since Triple H has taken over is when The Rock shows up, because nobody else feels exciting. And people just
you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen when The Rock shows up.
Exactly, because it's exciting.
Neither does the company.
It's
but
exciting,
that's the point.
man.
Like, we don't know, and it's like, no, I want to see what
It's like Triple H is scared to do anything, man,
because he doesn't know when The Rock's gonna show up and fuck things up.
Well, then that's fine. You gotta take that risk, bro. You still gotta book your show. Like, you gotta book your show, man. Like that's the problem. That's the real. I mean, I don't care. I don't want this company to fail and die and crash and burn, all that shit. I don't give a fuck. But that's what's happening. That's exactly what's happening. It's the most evil entity in all of pro wrestling. You goddamn right I want them to fail and no one care about them.
Final thoughts. What's y'all final thoughts?
Brandon saw it go to 2 hours on that clock, and he was like, all right.
I want to watch the fourth quarter of the Knicks and Pacers. I want to watch the fourth quarter.
I didn't talk about NXT real quick.
Leave the chat. Just leave us here. We'll finish.
I see two matches from NXT. You know,
all right. Let him go.
Tyrese Halliburton. We talked about it. Kalani
Stephanie
James,
and Grace.
And, that too. Let's start with that. Stephanie and Grace, I thought was a really good match. Maybe a great one. You know what I mean? So I get why people love that. I also saw Sol Ruka and Kalani James, whatever.
Jordan.
The black girl, Kalani Jordan. I thought that was actually a really good match. Probably a great one. Way better than the one they had last year that people were acting like redefined, women's wrestling. So I definitely go out of your way to watch those. I thought those were really good.
Those were both good matches. I would recommend those two matches. I watched the Miles Braun or whoever versus Obafemi, and it was a 20-minute match of one concept, like this guy has no chance against the monster. And then I watched Trick versus Joe Hendry, which was mid because Joe Hendry's mid.
And Trick is mid too, though.
Yeah. Trick can be carried to good stuff, though. He's done good stuff in the past. I have not seen a Joe Hendry match I like.
True. Good point.
Everyone excited for All In?
Absolutely, dude. I am so excited. I'm so excited because I get to be there, and I'm so excited for what the show is going to be for AEW. I'm excited for the atmosphere. I'm excited for them to start their own kind of WrestleMania weekend, and I hope it's successful, and I hope that people show up and it's a big success.
Before I get out of here, I'd be very remiss. Blue Moon Extra is coming because I got a lot of shit I need to talk about, and RIP Peter David. If y'all want to know who that is, check out my Blue Moon Extra when I go into it, because I don't want to do it now. It's already 2 hours.
The only thing on AEW I'll add is we always have like different disagreements and criticisms about like why the company's struggling. And I thought for most of 2024, the world title just didn't feel that important. Joe's reign kind of felt transitory. Swerve lost the belt right as he was kind of becoming relevant. Danielson's was a very short reign. That to me, like stuff like that to me is what this company does wrong. It's not they're too goofy or they don't do TV the right way. It's often stuff like that. And for better or for worse, you can not like these people. You can like these people. It's not easy. No, we gotta go. We gotta go. It's not about praising or hating on them. But Hangman versus their leader feels like it matters. It
I'll
does.
give you that one. I'll give you that one.
Mm.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
I think that was about sums it up right there. Anybody got any last thoughts?
Wait, Josh, are we doing the Peter David thing, or am I just doing the Peter David
When do
thing?
you want to do it?
We'll talk about it off there.
All right. Appreciate y'all as always. We'll be back soon.
Later.
Yeah, Josh, when you want to do it, man? Doesn't